inside, know these others try and play their part, but I'm the one who made it to your heart. Yeah, I show up on time, I know you need that love. Tell you everything that you don't hear enough. I fly you out to Paris, see the way they staring. Always on my mind, you know I need that love. Yeah, I show up on time, I know you need that love. Tell you everything that you don't hear enough. Fly you out to Paris, see the way they staring. Always on my mind, you know I need that love. I show up on time, I know you need that love. I show up on time, I know you need that love. You know I need that love. goes. Cause you might find what you're looking for. You might find what you're looking for. Don't go chasing your demons and ghosts. Cause you might find what you're looking for. You might find what you're looking for. We both know we're not the same without rock bottom. Let it go, but we come back to craving problems. Am I your favorite kind of shame? Do I make you wanna hate? Don't go chasing your demons and ghosts. Cause you might find what you're looking for. You might find what you're looking for. Don't go chasing
Welcome back to the ESL Challenger Season 44 Asian Playoffs. Our time is coming to an end, and as you can hear, things have been crashing down here as we have seen the lower bracket come into its own. It's been colossal little crashes here. Car crash from New Happy yesterday up against Wings Up as well, where they're just not able to get out of the garage as well. And of course, I'm 2 times joined by Michael Yumi Cassidy, the man of the sound effects.
Yeah, knocking things over. I was just so excited to get dove into it because we've got the three teams that I think we expected to see coming into these playoffs in the end of the playoffs. You know, the last couple days that we have before we find out who goes into the ESL Pro League Season 18 directly, and then it's kind of up in the air about what version of Counter Strike will even be on by the time it comes around. So it's quite an exciting time. You know, there's a lot of change, a lot of things happening. There's updates happening to the beta client. There's still so much uncertainty about who's gonna come out on top in terms of, you know, we just had the announcement that the last major of CSGO will be the Paris one. So yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot to be excited about, but still sticking with our game, still sticking with the fact that we've got ECL Asia, that remains true, and it's an IHC and a Wings Up that we'll be focusing on today.
And of course, we're to go in towards the end of the season. That does also mean the beginning of a new one. If you guys want to sign up to be able to play within the ESL Challenger circuit, potentially, first of all, get good, you scrubs. But then, secondly, go to ESEA.net and you can check out the league over there. And maybe you'll do better than I did. Personally, hard not to. Let's take a look at the brackets and see how things have been going on. Because obviously, today it's Saturday. It's a lower bracket finals. I know it's not quite that grand. I might have accidentally added that in, but it's a lower bracket finals. It is pretty damn grand.
Yeah, and of course, Wings Up, I see no, they're not exactly newbies when it comes to making it deep in tournaments. I think last season over, Wings Up were in the lower bracket similarly, but didn't survive to this point. They got dropped in the lower bracket semis or the lower bracket finals before the consolidation finals, and they actually fell at the hands of IHC. So for them to get this rematch now a whole season later, because these guys don't actually play against each other very often, to now have a chance for a bit of redemption, especially at a crucial moment where before, you know, you would just make it to the conference stage. Now that that has been removed and it's a direct invitation, a lot more on the line.
Absolutely. And look, at the same time, for IHC, they did recently just announce a new member to their lineup. Hastika from Clutch Gaming cannot play with them in this tournament. Let's not forget that. So they're going to be having an interesting time playing with their coach up against what is one of the best teams in the league and now guaranteed top three for the season, albeit with some caveats of dropouts and the like. Wings Up, though, yesterday versus New Happy did struggle just a little bit. I have to say, not looking like the strongest team in the block either. And you know, even map pool wise, I think IHC complements into them quite nicely. But why don't we take a quicker, rather closer look into the matchup between these two and the players that they on the board?
Yeah, the Wings Up side, it certainly has some heavy hitters. Especially when we focus in on the new additions. Flying seems to have added quite a lot of firepower to this squad. Very consistent in the time that we saw him with, especially against New Happy. He was very crucial for them to be able to take that one over the line alongside players like Gas. But Marek as well seems to have added a nice tactical element where it feels like Wings Up have tightened the ship in terms of the structure that they hold, especially on T sides. And it has, I think, really benefited this Wings Up squad that I didn't really feel like had maybe the depth to go up against a Lin Vision long term or an IHC, but now could be the start of a project that could be quite exciting in the months to come.
Well, absolutely. It'll be incredibly important for them to be able to come out on top in this series. So, obviously, if you go up into the grand finals, the Envision have been looking fragile as well. You know, they've had their moments where they've struggled on maps, perhaps versus teams wouldn't think that they would struggle up against. Obviously, Expro's departure have commented a lot on, but it's a bleeding giant, but it's a giant nonetheless. And it's a giant you have to go up against with a 1 game deficit to start things out. I'd see here, though, we do have the veto for ourselves, and I'm going to quickly run through that. I'd see. Of course, actually picking into Nuke. Wings Up picked Inferno first. I see the benefit of being the higher seed, so they could force Wings Up into the pick. Otherwise, both of these teams do like playing Inferno. So we're going to have Inferno, Nuke, and then the remainder will be Ancient. interestingly enough, Michael, ITC actually banned Anubis despite the performance we saw from Wings yesterday, and they have been willing to play them out.
Yeah, it's just something that they clearly have targeted because of the fact they opted to go for a second round veto rotation. It does also force them the Wings Upside to go with their permaban in that first round because they both share Vertigo. I think it's something that I commented on for New Happy is that it could actually benefit them coming into games. The fact that all these teams are going to be banning Vertigo because it seems to be a trend so far from the teams we have in the playoffs. And I think that's only going to work to the advantage of IHC. They've tailored this in a direction where I imagine they're going to be very heavily prepped for what's to come from this Wings Up roster.
And it'll be very interesting. I don't think we've had a chance to actually be able to cover them on Nuke, except for versus Lin Vision, where they did get kind of rock and roll just a little bit. Let's be frank about it. But for now, though, we've got to take a pause before we can find out what the action will be having in store for us. We're going to a short break. When we are back, it'll be Inferno picked by Wings Up. Let's see what they can do.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Done a deadly map pick for Wings Up, and now that IEC will have to face up against them, the question is who wins out? The Mongolians without their star player, or the Chinese squad that has been impressing and depressing everyone, depending on whether you're their opponent or their fan on Inferno.
Both of these teams struggled versus New Happy on this map, and sure, Wings Up finally got a win. This is a win that evaded IHC earlier on in the playoffs. But now to see who's learned their biggest lessons from the new Chinese kids on the block. Wings up, starting T side, and already perusing through middle into Blitz's crosshair. He is committed, and Annihilation with him. They find 2 kills between them.
Immediate retraction from the bomb side as well, and they're able to reset into defensive positions. Annihilation spots out a player all too close, and they know that there's at least 2 in middle. But even then, INC is not calling for rotations to come over. They're very convinced it's going to end up being a B-side hit, and Annihilation, in the meanwhile, even goes all the way forward. Now with the Archer's wrap coming through, it's going to be a 3-on-2 on the bomb side.
They don't have kits either on the side of IHC, so if they lose these 2 players rapidly, IHC will need to be quick on this rotate for the retake. Annihilation, headshot angle, and having a couple chances at it, but that's all a distraction for Blitz to activate inside of the pit. Crossfire now established between them, but they can't cover both angles, but the push there from Annihilation. Gas had no idea he was going to come out swinging. Not a single casualty, hardly a lick of damage onto any of these members on that CT side, but a pistol round for the IHC boys.
Let's get 3 kills, and I don't think his armor was touched in the entirety of that. Even Annihilation, wow! Not a single shot connecting. Oh my, I could have feel quite bad.
Yeah.
You've got rifles that coming out on the other side, along with 2 full belts of util.
Upgraded into head armor at a cheeky cost of 350. It's a lovely thing to see. They were ready.
No conditions apply for this.
And they were ready for duel. They were ready for scraps. They just went out with all armor. But, dualies in the second round. Lan has already found Bartek, and that's a FAMAS that can be attained.
A little bit out of arm's reach, going the wall, but yeah, that's not ideal.
They're really bunkering down to protect this weapon. Maybe even trying to toy with the idea of Mara going in as collection.
Blitz just took an aggressive peek forward, and Gas has been taken down to 2 HP. As a result of that, he's going to start making a call. Yeah, guys, let's start going to A. Why would the individual player start peeking into me? And Annihilation has started off with a bang, though. Say is going to be coming alive today. It is going to be a little bit more difficult. Rings to get anything accomplished. Gas with the bomb on his back can't really make the bomb side to try and get the extra money.
Yeah.
Oh, even the style jump.
Always like when players can flex that out. Some can't even do it. There's even a lineup you can do, which I must say, I was super against, but it is so easy that you probably just should be doing it. Techno didn't need no lineups.
I can do that without the lineup, but I can't do it with the lineup.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Well, great nade, though. It's going to be forcing Mark to come forward. Flashes are good as well from Mara. Blitz will continue to fight out. And obviously, yesterday we saw the Mara Bartek power duo on the B-bomb side. Clearly, we're still seeing some of the spots rotated and shuffled around. We're not quite sure what this should look. This is just a result of, hey, they're scrimming with Hastika now or something like it. Can't really know what's going on in the camp.
Yeah, it's something that only they'd be able to answer, how long they've been able to talk with Hastika, obviously having to play against them earlier in the playoffs. And Hastika was probably the most problematic player they had to deal with.
Yeah.
So they certainly saw a little taste of what they've bought into, but yeah, not going to be here for the rounds of playoffs. Doesn't seem to be affecting them too heavily.
Oh
Nice
my
kill.
God.
Nice timing there from Gas. Blitz was just trying to peruse by the side of the smoke, but it's already a weakened defense, a weakened defender in Mara, and the fact that it is 3-on-5 to start this one off, if Wings Up are able to recover, this would be a stellar round to win.
Annihilation's grenade could do a lot of damage and queue Mara up for some good kills, though. That nade, beautifully timed. But it's right off the floor rather than the wall. They jump, Lan just fought. He was slow, only needing a bullet, and Mara can't be feeling happy about this one. Bartek as well, flying on the lurk, was so goddamn annoying yesterday as well. Just kept on being a menace on the A-bomb side. Techno can't feel safe rotating away, so it's a one-on-one for Annihilation to have to come out on top of. Techno now has evaded the sightlines of fly all alone in this 1-on-2, flying, rotating back from Banana, and in the meanwhile, Lands push all the way through. Techno can find him, spots out the elbow, but doesn't quite register it. Now he'll know, finds a first, Molotov to the back of Coffins as well. No smokes to try and defuse it, and Lan is going to be forced off. Techno trying to go for the defuse with the body turned around. He will take the peek again, and Lan where the triple comes out on top. I can't believe he gets that jumping shot on Mara.
I mean, okay, first off, 4 kills there from Lan. That is fantastic. But it's strange to say that the most important kill here was that kill through the smoke there from Gas. Because they just assembled this boost. They had to force another player over. No one could actually play the bomb site on the side of IHC. And as soon as Wings Up were able to get that space, get that room, then the importance of, Lan winning these individual fights really came into factor. That's a 3-on-5 that Wings Up have been able to bail themselves out of at the start of that round. IHC are going to probably be very upset the fact they've let that one slip up.
In all fairness, it is also the back of a, shot through the smoke as well as Land is jumping up and finding more.
Well, first off, nobody ever jump clears that because that is a ridiculous thing to do.
That's like a vertical jump, not even like a, hey, I'm strafing to the side sort of situation, just to spot out.
Just popped his head up and ripped Mara into the grave.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen it. Gotta love it, man.
Him actually hitting the shot wasn't the impressive part. It was the fact that he decided that was how he was going to peak.
Bullet somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, there are 3 players located on the A-bomb site here for IHC. They didn't exactly want to contest Banana, and so Wings Up, after all those grenades, will be left wanting, a little curious about where the players are on the defense. Annihilation cheating past the smoke, and rotates are coming in nice and quick, but Marek actually taking room, only to lose his life to a pistol, and Techno's M4 is striking good. Right now, Gas, a couple of kills right back, 3-on-3, and Mara cut down before this bomb goes down.
Let's with the MP9 recovered. We'll just be trying to trail forward and find Gas in time to make this a 2-on-1. The problem is the crossfire is now established. Lan got the bomb down right on time as well. Blitz continues trying to play around the corner. Gas has also been distracted for a while by Annihilation's initial deagle shot, and Lan starts to get a bit antsy about this. Blitz is looking to close the distance, but they're waiting for the flashbang, and they've waited too long. Blitz will not find the kill, and Annihilation's demise also guaranteed. Might have been a kid on the bomb side on Techno's corpse, but without that, they wouldn't have had the defuse regardless of whether they got the kills or not.
Yeah, Lan and Gas are being massive saviors, really, now for the Wings Up side. Another round that looked like it was constantly in contention, but once it gets to that 2-on-2, and they've got these very difficult angles to flush out, had there been a Molotov or extra utility, of course you can't expect that from a force buy, then they could have certainly closed that gap, made the setup a little bit harder to hold for Wings Up in that post plant.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's not the molly he was looking for, I don't imagine. It's all well and good. It's just USPs here on IHC. It's not a heavy stack.
IHC almost had a bad experience with USPs. Rather, Wings Up almost had a bad experience with USPs on Inferno yesterday as well.
Yeah, versus New Happy. That was a very awkward one. Flying had to get a 3K with a Mac 10 in a post plant.
The stack is at the right place,
Considering they started 3 arches with a little cheerleader boost, then yeah, I'd see have gambled correctly.
Frontside smoke as well, so if they start to move in through towards Graveyard, this is going to be a problem. Cheerleaders assemble! Gas is going to be upset. What's going on over here? Why is everyone doing cartwheels and flips? Finds Mara, and the bomb is rotating back, and so are the CTs. They're already making their way over. And Gas hasn't given the call out just yet. They've moved back into arches. Flying is about to walk into them. He'll be able to find the first kill, perhaps with even Annihilation. Doesn't go all the way through, but he's turned around. He's worried about the flank to come in. Another dink has been found. Flying. He knows that they know exactly what's going on over here. Doesn't realize the second rotation is around the corner, and Techno can't find the kill. IHC read that, played that perfectly, but just a few more shots was all it would have taken, and now Annihilation's been left on a fool's errand, one that cannot be fulfilled.
Now, they had some great reads. They were fast on that rotation. Even when they took contact spawn, as soon as they got those 2 kills, they immediately gunned it over towards that A-bomb site. They were one step ahead of what Wings Up were going to counteract with, and they still couldn't get the drop on them. Still keeping their wits about them, double clearing for a second man inside of the A site really is what secured the round, because there's good reason to believe that they could have let Techno go by, not fully clearing for a second man. I'd say he might have started off with the pistol and the conversion, but since they've been on guns, Wings up 3 straight, overtaking it into the lead.
Modern Artist multiplying his funnel through short. Bartek, flashbang has just been eaten by him. Techno's good for 1, make it 2. Why not look for 3? Bartek is sure hoping that he can find it. Molotov to his side is not going to be doing him anything. And in the meanwhile, just jump spotting upwards, knows where these players are coming in from. Bomb's been dropped, keeps it going. Techno and Bartek coming up with a bit of the Blitz Annihilation flare we saw in the pistol round, but and gone.
Very timely smokes deployed there from IHC. You know, not enough to disrupt on short particularly, but keeping themselves alive, playing one-ways, and having these angles to fight that are outside of the normal map geometry. So really well done there between Bartek and Techno in that site. As soon as they heard any pressure mounting, they weren't just thinking, oh, it's going to be brackets control. They were fully expecting the push there from Wings Up. And because they got their smokes down so early, it was just incredibly difficult for Wings Up to actually get space, get room, or even find fights on the bomb site. I patiently await my Annihilation AWP.
You and everyone else watching the stream. I have to say, I'm slightly surprised that Wings Up actually commit. I think I'd have been 2 nades over towards apartments early on, perhaps expecting that op from Annihilation to come through and take the peak there in a more aggressive manner. Not sure about that. You don't generally see that naded.
I was a little surprised we even see Inferno Nuke as our maps of the pool, so...
Yeah. Pretty Annihilation heavy maps if you look at tradition.
Well, just also first round picks for IHC typically as well. You know, usually the underdog team is the one that goes for a little bit more cheeky, maybe go for a map that you've been silently preparing.
Wings isn't changing away from their Inferno. That's one thing we know for sure.
Yeah, and probably as well the fact that they know that they have to play with Mara might be part of what leans them into that decision. I like this.
Yeah.
Smoke down at the arches, and now just moving through to spawn. Mara and Blitz are going to be in for a world of hurt. They have to consider that this is a possibility, and it will divide their attention.
Blitz is going to be able to cover them off at the very least, but Mara needs to use that grenade and fast. It's good damage dealt from it. Blitz doesn't really collect on the spam. Instead, it's Mara to find the single kill. Blitz is all alone. They know they can even consider pushing through that smoke, and this one's gone awry. Very deep in it goes. Blitz has got some more damage, wants to continue spraying, but he's not feeling too healthy either. Lan manages to get the bomb plant down in time, and with now guns recovered, Flying and Lan have just found more frags. It's all down to Annihilation and Blitz, the 2-on-4 now. From a retake angle, one that they simply cannot afford to go for. It even looked like IHC might have had the right read there. With Mara committing so heavily to Banana with Blitz, I thought that they would be able to double down on one side of B and just hold on to it. But similar to how it works in Overpass, sometimes when you split up, it's just a little bit too much to deal with.
And I think we saw this exact same move from the Wings Up New Happy game, where, you know, they tried to wrap through the arches and they smoke off into construction, and that's exactly the setup there for IHC. It's what feels most comfortable to actually save one another, especially if you're going to have forward B-side presence. Over at Banana, you know, Mara was just stranded on an island as soon as Blitz gets smoked off, and he tried to spam because he knew he had to get 1, maybe 2 kills, but ended up empty-handed. And so, yeah, Wings Up, make a good call. IHC might have read it, but it doesn't change the fact that it was a kind of an awkward game state to be dealing with as a couple of B-side players. I need to put more priority on those arches to make sure that they don't get wrapped in a similar fashion in future rounds, but the mistake's been made. Things have capitalized, and see if they can get some room. Mara dodging flash and finding Child King through the smoke. Gas will find the trade though. And this early contest of Banana has been won by Wings Up. No reinforcements just yet for Blitz, and so he doesn't feel safe to continue contesting.
He does have a smoke on an incendiary, so there's lots of time to be bought, but he's not going to be calling in players back to B, and that's the right call to go for. Blitz has continually been pretty good with estimating exactly what's going on. And the Wings Up camp. Now, 3-man bracket setup. No one in apartments, not nearby at least. Flying is not going to be committing in from the aggressive Haps position. Techno's just hiding away, letting Annihilation be the point of first contact. But when he gets flashed, Techno has to swing. Bartek good for another. Make it 2 for Bartek. Having the time of his life anchoring this A-bomb site up to 5 now. And it feels like crucial kills every one of them.
You could just see, I mean, being able to get there, rotate in time. Bartek ended up not needing the extra support from the archers, just able to gun every single one of the Wings Up players down and what remained of the attack. But a good call, like you said, a good read on where Wings Up were going to go after things ended up 4-on-4, and keeping the A-bomb site reinforced certainly helped out back into an even game, but one in which IHC can overtake. It's only pistols coming out for Wings Up, very little utility, a single flash. One that's thrown at the start of this round. That's for IHC to peek, but Wings Up will want to contest Banana later. That's the current plan. And I'm not sure what's going on. You know, I feel like this happened last time we saw Wings Up. Child King, someone that's mechanically very sound. You know, we saw it in the new Happy game where I think it was Anubis, where it really felt like he started to activate, but Inferno was, like, again, a bit of a slow burner.
Definitely curious. Especially because, like you mentioned, it's not even like a slump of form. He looked insane. There's Blitz in the meanwhile. Good for another. Molotov down. Pushing through. Annihilations there. And yeah, this is going to be a very good round for the CT side, making sure they're keeping their economy as healthy as can be. Once again, not taking a single point of damage across a lot of them.
Yeah, if all your anti-ecos can go like that, that'd be great.
Yeah. What is this? 1.6 I hear all so much about.
Yeah, when pistols were useless.
Yeah.
You thought pistol rounds were RNG in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Well,
1.6, they just dropped them and tried knifing each other. That's how bad the pistols were.
that's just not true, but...
Yeah, they're not really, guys. Just we Regardless, though.
Yeah, good nade at the start of this round. Lan being the only presence really over Banana, a nade that greets him. IHC, especially with Annihilation being alone on his efforts over at B, it is important that he's able to do damage, show presence, but also not die. And you will see him prioritize that very fact. Goes to retrieve some utility that was dropped in spawn so that he could delay a little while longer. But all that pressure that he puts, albeit without firing off a shot on that AWP, it has lent Wings Up to investigate middle.
This nade from Mara is going to be beautiful. They back off right on time. Wings Up right into it. Cast good only for one. Bartek and Blitz are here to finish them all off. 2 more players to come over. The apartment's presence is going to be late. Mara good for one. Bartek turns around knowing where Flank's coming in from, but flying. He's got wings on his back for sure. Just comes out and knocks Bartek down a peg. IHC is looking like they're going to be forced to save with the way things are going. The refresh on the smoke as well. I can't imagine them wanting to stick around.
They had the right call. They had the right setup. They funneled Wings Up into this exact take. And it just breaks down. You know, great effort there from Flying to get that counter kill that really unlocked the rest of that A-bomb site.
Yeah.
But for it to go so wrong, considering you've got such a heavy stack, you know, you need to have players playing anti-flash and just being prepared for those duels. You know, if you're going to have that presence, maintain it, and actually clear out and get extra information. Now, even with a round win, I wasn't expecting these two to die. It does come at a hefty cost. Only one player surviving in Child King, so money's not going to be great for Wings Up, but it shouldn't stop them from investing.
Just to add to what you were discussing as well, Blitz was supposed to be playing anti-flash over there, but because Mara gets smoked off, their protocol becomes a little bit confused. You can see that maybe this is something slightly newer. They're not entirely used to their position the same way, because ordinarily Blitz would never look left to be the point of first contact. It should be the under shelter player who's much harder to flash off to come through for that one. Unfortunately, Blitz was completely blinded, couldn't actually help them out, so it becomes a lot less favorable. Blitz, in the meanwhile, though, doesn't know there's a player right next to him, and now behind him, Lan is going to turn around and smack him down. Techno next to fall as well, and IHC have fallen apart once again. Will be calling for a save, and this time might not even be supplied to them.
Yeah, you start 3B, you want to take banana control, and every single one of those members dies. So it's a very simple decision. They messed around, they found out, and Wings Up taking it away with a 6th round. That's very, very quick, and not one that they had pre-planned. It was simply, oh, we got 3 kills, we may as well see what this B-bomb side has to offer, and it was obviously vacant. They want these guns out of their hands as well. It has been a costly endeavor to bring it back to a tie game, but given how well this round started, may as well finish it off with a flourish.
Have they heard Burtic? No. I don't know.
Saving these weapons is the difference between having a full buy in the next round and not, so...
Yeah, it's very important. Also, at the same time, for Wings Up as well, like, their economy is terrible. So you don't want to be in a situation where we've just lost 3 players trying to hunt down an AWP. So you can see why they're not entirely... Yeah, they're not too gung-ho about running after Annihilation. Full util this time out, though, from the Chinese side. They are going to be probably going to be looking towards Banana once again, and considering how often they have won out that duel and come out on top over there. Grenade is good onto Child King. He's been feeling the brunt of damage pretty consistently overall. Annihilation trying to line up a counter. Will be able to do a little bit more. Child King just eating it, man. He is just not having a good day.
Yeah, even when they actually steamrolled over the B-bomb site, you know, there was a potential for Child King to just die because Lan was inside of a smoke, right? He's been getting the short end of the stick. I never have any HP, and his teammate's supposed to help me. I'm not sure what that smoke was supposed to do, but that, I don't imagine, was the plan. It's kind of in an awkward spot where a player at Sandbags could still peek into B, and it's on the corner to prevent maybe an ult picking, but regardless, Wings Up throw it, and now make their way over to reset Endless A site. Smoke at the arches. Blitz will be denied information. It will be these pit players that have to show presence.
Techno and Bartek will be the major ones to take the lead, like you mentioned. Flashbang dodge now. Techno, good for one. Make it two. The Spummer spray is looking good. And Child King not looking like he really wants to go ahead and contest Lan, and Child King naded down early on, but surprisingly enough, it's all of their teammates who die first. Every time IHC is put into a position where all they have to do is chill on a bomb site and dodge some flashes, it feels like they've come out on top more times than not.
Yeah, no, that's very reasonable. You know, when they play self-contained, play very defensive setups, it's worked out quite swimmingly. And this is something that we've talked about with IHC before, is that maybe it's almost too defensive sometimes. It didn't change when they played international opposition. Sure, they'd still sometimes try and get, you know, blitz in their face, or, you know, I think with previously Score, he'd still make initiative moves, but especially when it comes to just playing the CT side as it is, if there's no reason to panic, if there's no reason they need to make this extra step, or I guess disrupt what their opponent is doing, they won't take that risk. And, you know, it'll work. If it works domestically, it certainly has worked internationally as well. But maybe they're trying to add some extra depth, some more layers. Got several events coming up in the calendar year, several international gigs.
Yeah.
So
Melbourne, I think Rio, obviously Mongolia. Yeah, they've got a lot coming up their way.
At least one of them is kind of domestic, so.
Kind of. It is the most important one, right?
Yes, yeah.
Night timing. Oh, that's juicy. Blitz is going to be able to keep them low. A bit more spam as well. Mark not feeling... Oh my god, there's nades all over the place. Blitz has just been supplied with some sort of arms dealer. He's getting in a bad company. And he's becoming a dangerous boy. They don't want to play with him anymore. Backing out over towards B, they're going.
Yeah, they might just have to peel away. They used so much utility and gained very little for the amount they invested. And smoked down at Moto that they still want to try and take space from, but Blitz is still here. Mark barely losing out that duel. A 14 HP Blitz will survive, but Gas finally deals with him, and they want to go for this wrapping play again.
A lot less time to make it work, but what a shot onto Annihilation Child King right when they need him the most. But Mara comes out, good for one, knows there has to be a second one making his way over. Gun spotted out as well. Mara's dropped the bomb, perfectly played as he backs off, but not into secret. Tries to get aggressive and take the peak, the confidence boost coming back to bite him, and so the bomb can be planted so much more safely. Techno and company peeking in, and Annihilation's op is doing so much, but just not in his hands.
Bartak 1v2, that is very, very feasible. Both these players low from earlier duels. Gas on 20, flying will need at least one extra bullet. Bartak's got the kit, but Wings Up are playing very defensive, very safe. They know that this health is not to their advantage. Finally, a shoulder spotted, and the AWP is flying up close. Bartak might not expect it. In fact, he's swinging wide, and flying goes unchecked. He thought that they might have been doubling dark, and he really doubled down on that idea. Wings Up, move past I8C for a 7.
That's such a cool setup in middle to make sure they can't come into A, but then it's just a few crucial mistakes. I don't even blame Annihilation for missing that shot, by the way. I think that's fine. That's just insane from Child King, but Blitz re-peeking back from Library after he's gotten the kill rather than just holding for cross and information is so vital to the fact that that wrap can happen. And then after that, Mara as well, like I said, I don't know if it's adrenaline, he's getting excited because he got the double kill, but he gets so hungry for the third rather than just trying to delay on the bomb site. That was in their pocket. They just didn't realize they'd press so hard that they made a hole in it.
Yeah, there was certainly an argument to be made about playing the clock, and something that might have not come to the realization of Mara, who is probably very cognizant of that when he's standing behind the I8C squad. But in the moment, you know, things are getting hectic. You know, you could see it from the angle as well of him trying to get a glance through the CT just so he knew where his opponents were coming from. But at that point in the round, you know, playing your life is probably the better approach. So, yeah, minor blunders in spite of a great effort from Mara. Could have been a highlight round. Instead, yeah, it's one for Wings Up.
It's a highlight if you know where to cut it off. Meanwhile, Bartek's been cut off in apartments. Not the ideal situation for a man who's having so much success on the A bomb site. Oh god, this might be the first just blatantly incorrect stack from IAC that we've seen come out. If the commitment comes soon, obviously Wings have been playing this very slowly traditionally. Techno's been left all alone. All these in utility, all flying through. This is going to be a save if Techno dies.
Nah, man, Techno kills 3. You might see 3 players on the B bomb site, but just because A has less presence doesn't mean it's not stacked. A hard angle, and Techno will try and take these fights. There's 3 players that direction. One is, oh, he'll get. Never mind. It's not quite as, not quite the fairy tale, not quite the fantasy that I was trying to build. But still moving in for this. Mara much closer than they would have expected, but with the SMG, he's willing to take the risk. The rest of the team will not join him in that adventure. In fact, Annihilation was all the way through the bottom side of B, already kind of set up for a save.
Well, that's definitely not worth it. Even just the Kevlar would have gone a long way, and plus having the MP9 means you don't have to reinvest into the next round, just get a lot more utility. It's the last round of the half. You want to have everything you want. There was nothing you could have found.
Yeah, just trying to catch them asleep at the wheel. A 3-on-4 like that, where you've taken the A bomb site, you know, you've stacked, made the wrong stack. Many teams would just instinctively go with the save. So maybe just trying to throw a little curveball.
Yeah.
Wings Up like, oh yeah, I can take my hand off my mouse. We're fine. We're good. The bomb's down.
it's a bit funny, but if you took the nameplates off and I didn't know this was Mara, I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe it's like Bartek or some other like young talent who's going for these plays and, you know, getting some hot moments, but maybe feeling the pressure a little bit, maybe getting a little bit over aggressive sometimes. You don't think it's Mr. Veteran himself?
Yeah, no, I think we certainly noted this in some of their previous playoff games. We've actually been trying to use Mara to, you know, get information and instigate sometimes as well.
That's good. But one make it to AK switched out as well. Can he back off in time is the question. Annihilation is here with a bit more backup. Molotov is ready should he need to deploy it, but will not be doing so. Reroute to A from Wings Up, but they've decided against it.
Gotta be careful here if you're Blitz. Even taking a tag through that wall would be the end of you. And, well, through the smoke, he tried to transition. Last bullet there for Lan before the reload. Annihilation still sticking around.
He's taking up the AK, wants to move forward. Inside the smoke, Child King. He's been having a lot of very unfortunate rounds. Flashbang is great. Annihilation doesn't realize there aren't bullets in the gun. No, not like this. Another 3-on-5. That has turned into a 3-on-3. And Mara can't fight the frag either. Advantage now lost on the A bomb site with it. That's the route that Wings Up have elected to go for.
Yeah, hadn't quite made up their mind just yet. And may not even commit off this. I'm not... this is curious routing. Slow creep through the underpass and will make apartments their home. I guess it's the most suitable.
They've missed a smoke. There should be an idea for IHC to start rotating. It's a smoke inside Hobbit instead of a CT.
Yeah, it's a little curious. It's a very strange place for a smoke to have been deployed, but IHC are still sticking to their guns, and, well, their guns are, funnily enough, wrong. Last round of the half, so they have to go for this, and they'll look to recover what they can from the earlier banana duels. They've got their hands on rifles, but a 2-on-3, they at least have a smoke and a kit, so it is feasible.
Now, maybe this is where
falling.
Techno's 3K can come through. But they don't want to give him the deals, not right now. 2 offs bearing down. Surely both of them don't miss. Techno trying to do what he can, but now just tagged up through the wall as well. Flying keeps them honest. 9 for Wings Up. They have been looking good towards the end of the first half, but we've got to take a break before we can see more of them. Slim margins, and that's the difference between IHC taking the lead and Wings Up retaining it. Great stuff coming out from them. Lan and Gas leading the charge so far on the scoreboard, despite Marek and Child King having some struggles.
Yeah, but an advantage that they will be certainly satisfied with how they've attained it. Bailed themselves out of a 3 versus 5 along the journey, and even at deficits, even at man disadvantages, they were able to make each and every round competitive. So, especially considering the struggles that have been in the past for both these teams against New Happy that are brand new to many of the viewers at home, even myself. They are certainly going to feel good about the lessons they've learned. Pistol round from IHC is quick and fast into 8.
Land's already down. That's a big boy gone out of the server. Flying as well, located and eliminated. Marek flubbing out shots all over the place, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I think the CTs are saving.
Yeah, not sure we're saving the most value here, but they'll take it. They've got armor, they've got some dualies, and they've got a little distance between them and IHC, so maybe feeling comfortable enough to make this play. They can obviously go for a force buy as well in the next round, and some of those costs are mitigated, but they didn't put up much of a fight. Lost that A-bomb site far too quick, and they tapped out. IHC exactly what they need to bridge that gap.
I would be very interested to see if they actually save some money for an AWP later on and force buy beyond that. Land's obviously gone for the scout right now, but with Gas already having Kevlar, Child King, same for him, you could comfortably save 1,000 and have a much better buy. That's the only way, in my opinion, you can sort of justify saving those weapons.
Wasn't it also Child King on the force buy on their T side that ran in with dualies?
Yeah, he found the kill with dualies.
Yeah, like Boiler
yes.
onto... Yeah.
Wasn't that flying?
It might have... I couldn't remember who it was. That's why.
Yeah, because flying generally plays that position, but with the dualies, you don't really know. Anyone can go anywhere.
Yeah. Just want to get in their face. Oh,
I don't think you want to get in Land's face.
That is a scary fight to take if you're Annihilation. Yeah. So as soon as he hears that scout, he no longer holds middle, not quite as vehemently. Oh, chicken scared him.
For good reason. Those things are terrifying. Especially the black ones, because you can't tell if it's a shoe coming out sometimes. Yeah.
Especially when it just ran through a smoke like that.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who pushes smokes? Not even a survival instinct for these chickens, it seems. But a very slow burner here from IHC. They're anticipating this force buy and expecting some kind of counter move, some aggressive play, but that will not come. Wings Up playing inside of the sights. And after establishing banana control for so long and being re-smoked off middle, the decision might be made for them, but they're actually still hanging around. They want to retake this, and the good news for the Wings Up side is that they actually have another smoke they can prepare.
Flashbang through, though. They want to take the peak first. What a flashbang. Child King's able to collect on 2. Flying and Bartek and Annihilation are able to respond in kind, but Land's got another tag. Mara worried about taking the peak forward. Annihilation's down low as well. This round is getting a little bit too interesting. Land's able to collect on another before he's going to go down. These players are low. There's AKs and Galils down in mid. This is looking like a difficult round to hold on to for IHC.
Kit available on Marek as well. And it's all about whether Bartek can spring into action or not. It's all about how much attention is taken away. First kill there, and Bartek's quick to trade. A double kill in that post plant, and 3 in total for Bartek. A critical round for IHC to not let slip up. They do convert against the Force.
What a great flashbang timing as well. You're right, they did have another smoke prep and prime, but they instead anticipate the fact that if IHC think it's going to be a stack over towards the B-bomb set and are rotating back to A, that would be the right play to make pretty much every single time.
Yeah. Considering they had 3 in position to deal with that, throwing that flash and then priming that smoke immediately afterwards actually might have been probably the best play to make. Of course, they don't know for certain that IHC are going to be there, and maybe that smoke would prove valuable on a retake. Had they had the heads up, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, okay, never mind. That's exactly what I thought was going to come up his way. Techno on the bright side can trade down with a couple of easy frags. USB's all he has to deal with. Easy, I say, but Life will be forfeit nonetheless. Wow. I heard 2 dinks in there.
Yep. I think one was through the edge of the wall, so Blitz barely able to stay alive. And not a whole lot that Mark can do, surely. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
How has he gotten away with that? He might even find Blitz too. 20 HP?
No.
Okay. Annihilation there to save him. Considering the investment, yeah, that's a lot of damage, far more than they would have bargained for, and kind of tees up for future rounds, future successes if Wings Up are able to answer back on rifles. Let's not forget that the first half kind of started the same way. The conversion rounds were won by IHC, but as soon as rifles came out, Wings Up were a lot more difficult to beat, as you would expect. But considering, I think we've seen a trend for both these teams that losing the Force Buys has unfortunately crept in. You know, even for the likes of IHC, part of that you might attribute to, you know, the absence of score and then using Mara instead. It's, you know, it's a transitionary period, and for Wings Up, kind of a similar story. They've had a little bit more time to steep in having Flying and Marek. Of course, Marek now departing us for a moment. I think that's what's quite interesting about the teams we have remaining in the playoffs, especially with Rare Atom pulling out, no renewal as well, and NKT not being able to follow through in these playoffs. We actually have teams that are kind of in the midst of roster moves or had recently made roster moves ahead of this season. And still able to maintain that form, still able to be competitive. You know, these were the names that we expected to see through these playoffs because of the fact that they've been so competitive in the region for such a long period of time.
Okay, Mark's just saying. All right. I'm surprised we don't see the op from Lan. Obviously, he wouldn't have had the full belt behind it, but yeah. He's very good with the rifle, don't get me wrong. We saw that all throughout the T side.
Yeah.
Resumption has come through. I2 is generally decent in the first half, though, with dealing with just these lower buys and everything. We commented on how they were just continually keeping 5 players alive a lot of those situations. But, yeah, this is where that could all change here and now. This is a swing round for either team. Both of them should be losing out the next. Should they lose this one as well? It's worth effectively 2. And Marek, with all these flashes in his face, is going to be relying on Child King, who's great when tracing out Mara. Nade is good, but it won't be finishing him off, not even close.
A very surprisingly slow game as well for Marek. You could see he's willing to throw his life away to get some control over Banana, but for them to get that kill and immediately be able to peel back, that's about as ideal as it could have gone. So I know that it's going to completely scare off IHC from recommitting down towards Banana and re-investigating. It has been vacated by Wings Up in favor of a more defensive setup. But always worrisome, you know, giving up all this territory. You can see Annihilation throwing some a Molotov up close just to make sure that there is no one lingering. But they're going to grind this clock down to about the 40-second mark before hitting into this A site. And this will be a tough setup to break. Grave, Pit, both are very problematic positions.
Down one way, Flying, spots out the first player. Techno trying to fly all around the smokes. He's not able to find anything. Lan as well, collects on a second. And one-way smoke or not, doesn't really help you if you're just going to be pre-fired into, and they don't have to care about short or long or any other angle. One of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the one-way pop into 3 people coming out from apartments without a lot more pressure coming out elsewhere on the side as well.
Yeah, maybe a heavier short commitment would have benefited them massively. You know, being able to throw maybe a follow-up nade or even set up for that Molotov so that it didn't have to come from one of the apps players. But it was, you know, that was what kind of disrupted the timing to even hunt down that trade. One player jumped out, the other one is kind of lining up a Molotov behind, and yeah, I'd see just unable to get too much room, too much space. That setup that I thought was going to be hard to hold was certainly exactly that. So definitely a difficulty. I don't know. We're getting flashbacks of rounds since gone by, but
Once
There are
upon a
still-
time, IHC got kills as well.
Yeah,
This
no,
is from
that part
them
is
back
true.
then. Got to remind everyone back home, right? They're thinking, "Oh my God, Wings Up, you're looking so good right now. What? How did IHC even get to 9?" Well, that's how, guys. That's how. I think this one is probably a tactical. They definitely need it to be able to figure out what the hell's going on with their money situation. They'll be forced buying into it, obviously. Can't really afford to be trying to save on a $1,900 loss bonus here. It doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could still get a buy together in the follow-up round, but you just lack so many options. You know, not having Molotovs, or you're having to compromise into Galils, which they'll still make that decision here, but if they want to work off of gun rounds with AWPs and AKs out, they want as optimal a setup as possible.
They want the works, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially if Wings Up are going to continue to be a bit of a nuisance over on B. 3B start will once again be what they have in store. And Mark will be maybe even the sacrificial lamb once again. Score reset, he did disconnect. But maybe looking for a fresh start here in round 20. Ooh, they're going to try for a holes pop.
Line's going to be called to order once again. Good for the 2 immediately. He's been collecting so many on the anchor position. Although he'll finally fall, it doesn't matter. He's done it all, man. He's just looking so good. The new additions to Wings Up have really been contributing consistently.
I mean, good stuff from Flying. Didn't actually have as much impact on the T side as maybe we had seen against New Happy, but like you said, in this anchor spot, just very difficult once you're going up against both Flying and Lan. Neither of them have really missed a beat, and both have been very prepared for these plans out of holes from IHC, so maybe something to reconsider in future rounds. Didn't work last time where they had the grave and pit setup, but they decided, oh well, it might have just been the setup. We'll give it another swing, and it goes about as poorly. 4A, huh? And only Glocks on the other side. They've made the right call.
Seems like they've made the right call almost every time on this half so far. Obviously, not much sample size to work off of, but there's not much breathing room either. Wings are very firmly set in the driver's seat, and they just have to make sure they don't let go of the wheel.
Hallmark's now accompanied by Child King, and this could be a fresh start for the both of them. Both have had a rougher showing. Not exactly the performances we're used to seeing from Child King, but very, very defensive. They're actually giving them a whole lot more room than you would have anticipated, but against Glocks, it still shouldn't be all too threatening. The 1D that is available is dropped, and while there is... Oh my goodness, they're going to get a plant. They're actually somehow maybe going to get a plant out of this, but Bartak's now pinned at the back of the bomb site and negating that bomb. He's looking for damage. Won't find
He did find
either.
it, just on himself, unfortunately. Yeah. I want to see IC not opting into the op next. I know you mentioned that they want it. I know Annihilation likes going for it sometimes on the T side. Right now, he didn't have money regardless. Obviously, on that 4,400 mark, they needed the bomb plant to try and get something like it. But I hope that they continue prioritizing rifles, because the problems they're facing right now are not ones that can be solved just by opting into an op. They need to be able to find picks earlier on, and if they're executing onto a bomb site, then they need a lot more flashes, a lot more utility to actually get in there. So I don't feel like either one of those things is going to be accomplished with an op, especially on T-side Inferno. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I certainly follow the logic. You can see Wings Up didn't really have a good read on the economy last round, but now that they realized that they were dealing with Glocks, and they maybe lost a little more than they should have, money's in a good enough place anyway. They've come in with some extra caution. They're playing this round out like they would any other gun round, but that was how they played against the anti-eco as well. This time it is the right decision tree. But Child King will stick around towards the top side of B. And if this gets flashed, if this gets contacted into even the boost, yeah, this will be dangerous.
Good for the one. They still want to start going forward. He almost gets away. Not quite. Annihilation able to peek out right in time. And now they're going to be setting up for a B-sided execute. Now, he did spot out quite a few people, but the problem is that Wings Up know that IHC have been very hyperactive in their rotations back and forth. This time it is a rare commitment. A full execute onto the bomb side. Gas is taken down. Mara through the smoke in the wall. Good for another Marek. No trade, but the re-peek from Mara while he's reloading as well. Lan is so hot in pursuit. They didn't think he'd be here already. Annihilation's covering off the bomb planter. Now a 2-1-1. Both players nestled inside the new box, flying. Master deal with that. Like to get a double peek to come out. Annihilation gets it on the first. 4 kills for him. He doesn't need any op right now.
Yeah, that seems so strange, the way that they were approaching the site hit as well. You know, we've seen, I think in previous showings from IHC, they've actually opted to move with Techno sometimes leading the charge, going for entry kills, you know, being set up for success to a certain degree. After he boosts up there, I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't stick to the half wall, albeit it would maybe break down who's doing what in terms of your contact play into B. But if you're going to boost like that, you know, he gave Child King an extra heads up by making a step over towards Banana. But afterwards, IHC play it wonderfully, even with the small blunders, small mistakes, reading into the double play and actually being able to convert. It's very, very important. Up to double digits, and ends up having best into that AWP finally. But it is rather strenuous on their economy.
Oh.
It might not matter if Marek's finding kills through smoke.
Banana Fight's been going well for Wings Up on either side of the coin.
Yeah, they're either starting off with a man advantage or they're at least trading 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Never been free. Always comes at a cost.
IHC been feeling hesitant in trying to take map control back in middle after how their A-side adventures have gone in those past few attempts. Even so, slightly different on the setup coming out over here on B. They're letting the clock burn down so goddamn much, though. Now, fast execute's going to be coming through. They have to go through the smoke to be able to even try that. They do have enough to rejig. Don't forget that. No utility available for the CTs to try and stop that. Marek, though, position's going to be tricky to deal with. Dodges at the flashes, but can't get the frags. Child King up on top with Do, and lands rotated through. Right in the smoke he goes. Annihilation's going to try and commit to the bomb plot. Annihilation found by Lan and brought down 13 for Wings Up.
Oh man, I love seeing Lan play like that as well, and perfectly done. You know, in spite of the fact that Mara gets nothing from his spray, the fact that he dies so quickly, they have no idea that a third man's going to be here. They don't even anticipate the boost because of the positioning that Marek holds. They only just recently threw that CT smoke, so expecting that if that boost was going to be assembled, it was assembled because that smoke had hit the deck. I'd see come in swinging it a little haphazardly, and ultimately Child King is able to flourish in that circumstance. A 3-round discrepancy and back down onto pistols. Wings Up are projected up to 14 and within touching distance, not being able to take away their map pick in the series.
Take down and out. Not really relying on these Eagle shots that we know can't come out either. IHC just searching for any sort of hope whatsoever, and there will be none to be found. They are very much looking checked out at this stage. And Michael, you know, we chatted about how 2 first picks and whatnot. This isn't looking like it.
Just want to also consider the idea, or I guess the story of IHC very frequently coming second in the ESL Challenger League seasons previously. Losing to Lin Vision in the finals has been frequented as well, and their best shot at it, their best chance, you know, no rare Adam, it's an easier side of the bracket. Lin are also undergoing roster moves, you know, G coming in, Vadim, it didn't matter who it was. Some of these teams have been arguably weakened, and their best shot at going directly into ESL Pro League, they have to do it with Mara, and I'm sure they don't protest that, but they are certainly not fighting at full strength. Wings Up feel like they've found a new strength with the roster move that they made.
And the second half's been looking a lot better both for Mark and Child King. Child King misses out of the smoke. As I say it, Mara, the Jinx machine, and he's got the entries. Doesn't know that there's a third player around the corner, so at the very least, Gas can show up and make things a bit interesting. Bomb also very far away from IHC, and it wants to stay far away. The A-bomb site has been marked down as a destination. And Flying, the only man here to try and prevent the eventual entry onto it. Rather, Lan with the AWP. Good for the one. Op has been dropped. Can he spot out the players pushing in through apartments? Tunnel visioned in onto short instead. He's got Flying rotating over, who needs to push through the smoke if he wants a shot at it. IHC still not out of hot water, but at the very least, they have started cooling it down.
Really even committing to this. Flying, trying to take this duel, and if he had been given a free one to start it off, might have been able to incentivize it. They can load in with another buy in the follow-up round. Are they really committing to this? If they lose this and the round to follow, they would be in dire straits, and so they do save. They do opt out of it. IHC, don't let them get up to 15 quite so quickly. In with an 11th, and I just want to make this comment while it's there. This is a round where I think Child King either alt-tabbed, lagged out, I don't know what happened, but he seemed to rubber band in his jump and couldn't quite make it over. He even sort of froze in place, a little confused as to what happened. And well, they do make it costly on the exit there from IHC. That bomb radius can be a massive nuisance, and so IHC do get punished by funneling into these remaining saving players of Wings Up. It does hurt their economy, but they're just satisfied that they come away with the round win. You cannot expect Mara to get double entries over at B. You cannot expect Child King to be in such a compromised position. I don't even know if by fault of his own or what really happened, but that was an extenuating circumstance. So it doesn't reek of consistency.
I mean, considering that the only two rounds that they've gotten outside of the pistol and T-Sign has been a 4K from Annihilation and the double entry with the caveats you mentioned for Mara. We have to wait to see. Mara, though, maybe wants to prove us wrong. First one found. Techno's a trade. Molotov's there as well to stop him from coming through. They don't want to deal with Mara at all, and for good reason. Annihilation, though, giving up a freebie.
They were actually going to re-divert. They knew that there was a second player over at the B bomb site, and playing 2A is very, very compromising. But because they get this kill on Child King, now they stop in place. And Flying. Good initiative move. Playing Trigger Discipline, but Bartak turned, so he had to pull the trigger. Now just trying to capitalize, trying to take space over at B, but they'll fall right into Marek's AWP. The AWP has struck, and so while smokes come down on this bomb site, they've yet to make up their mind. They're waiting for Blitz to activate on the flank.
Problem is that Marek will be able to actually hear him coming over as well, but the shot's been missed. Blitz smokes it off so he can cross over a little bit more safely. In the meanwhile, the smoke will be dissipating soon on Coffins. They're forced to re-Molotov Annihilation. We'll get the bomb to run down while it's still existing, but now it's a 3-on-1. They have a Molotov for a new box as well. Gas is in position to line it up. That's exactly what's coming his way. He hears it. He hears the fire soaring over. Flashbang avoided. Shot's been hit. That's the first one to connect. Second one cannot be. Gas. Too damn good right now. 15 for Wings Up as Inferno is looking like their playground.
Wow, okay. Wings Up able to make that one work, and Marek just wielding that AWP as soon as he lost out Lan, still stuck around. Kind of crazy that he's able to pull that off, considering, you know, he has had a rough game, but on CT side he has been recovering.
Yeah.
Him and Child King are doing well in their B-side holds, and they've typically had reinforcements. You know, they've called for that extra man in time very frequently. Scramble together by here for IHC for what could be the last round of this map. Through that smoke, Marek and Mara will combine. It's a double entry over at B, this time not just by one man's hands, but they don't accelerate. They don't just try and capitalize, and it's allowed Lan to spring in to at least claw the numbers back by one.
Grenade, Mara. Trying to catch out the timing. Gas, however, is going to realize they've all already cheated past the grenades. Good to follow up, but flying shots just aren't there. Lan all alone, a 1-on-4, and this all better be getting the hell out of Dodge. There's no way he can go for this.
Considering this was a compromised buy as well, you know, to have the rifles that you brought into this round have success is far more than they would have expected. Lan, oh my goodness, even fighting out of the situation, doesn't have a kit, but there's one dropped in his path. Oh my god, if he realizes they're both coming in from behind, he could have stolen this round completely away from them, but how was he to know that? They were firmly on this hunt. They want this all out of his hands, and they will succeed in doing just that. That could have been very dangerous.
Yeah, they almost kind of thrown that one away, but now they've brought themselves back into contention to some extent. Money's quite poor, the wings upside, but you can say the same for IHC as well. They cannot afford to let any of these anti-ecos and anti-half-buys that might come their way be even slightly competitive. Mara, though, man, what a beast. He's been giving them the entries that they needed desperately.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just an on-the-fly decision as well, because typically it's been Techno leading the way, but, you know, now I think is it just maybe Mara's getting the spawn faster, and so, you know, they're sort of interchanging roles based on that, or because Techno's been losing some of these opening duels over in Banana, maybe just saying, someone else take over for me, and Mara raised his hand. Hard to know, but success has been found via that decision. And in with a half buy, almost committing him out as much as a full buy. The only one that does actually do so is Chalking and Marek, the two B-side players. The rest are floating some funds for future rounds. It's a good round to pull out a move like this. Haven't been too aggressive on CT sides, and now Bartak in for a nasty surprise. Yeah, more where that came from. Lan gets the trade and an AK to boot.
Oh.
It's rather short-lived, isn't it?
Well. Yeah. Not quite able to get the impact that you're hoping if you are man with the robbery.
It kind of does the opposite of what he wanted it to do. You know, by his positioning, it actually makes the AK less achievable, less attainable for it to do any damage. So it's kind of worked out here.
Well, the round's looking a lot less achievable and attainable as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up just pivoting into a save here, to be honest, in the CT side once the bomb plant comes in on B. There might still be the AK recoverable. We don't really know if it's been thrown away by Blitz or not. I would imagine that would be a priority, but who knows?
He's also left in charge solo of second middle, and so if he's just juggling weapons, you know, very, very likely he could get swung from the apartments. So
you're kind of asking for it at that point, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that gun is still exactly where it was placed, but weirdly enough, I wasn't expecting Blitz to still hover that weapon like a hawk, but he will do exactly that. He knows that Wings Up have their eyes set on it.
Well, you never know. It could be the difference maker in the next round or so as well, but I think he has forfeited it here and now. Flying can just run off with it. Blitz will realize, taking a second to register it. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Where on earth did they get off to? Got to worry about their own economy, though.
Can't be too fussed about other people's business when your own is looking kind of poor.
So I mean, this next round is a little bit more scary than it need be. This would have been a safe call from Wings Up if not for them saving 3 players with armor, upgraded pistols, and now the AK as well. Also want to mitigate the costs as well from the CT side for Chalking to just get his, or for rather a pistol to be dropped over because Flying had one himself.
Alright. Oh, what a grenade. Chalking's there with the follow-up decal, so just to slow down target is enough. Marek swaps out the guns and will be able to juggle it back now. They've got 2 AKs. And 4 players on this B bomb side, IHC smell blood and they want nothing to do with it. They are running away.
Yeah, that's about the worst way that could have gone for Mara. The nade made contact with him, and then he got tagged by the explosion as well. Went to a snail's pace around that corner. And yeah, this gets incredibly scary, incredibly spooky. If they do reset to the A bomb site, they have chosen the path of least resistance. Only Lan here with a 5-7, and sure, he has been quite devastating when being able to play up close, given chances like it, but it's going to be such a far cry from what they were hoping for.
Thing is, they do have a kit as well on flying. Annihilation really needs to hit these shots. If Lan can get even 1 kill, even 1, you might be out of it. All off from Annihilation. Flying's found Blitz in the meanwhile. That AK is still going to be put to use. Marek's demise means that they've only lost a pistol so far. Lan's still yet to reveal his position. They might be thinking he's not here at all. Techno trying to move forward, looking to clear out mid as well. And if the drop down is from Bartek, he's dead. He's a dead man. Flying will be found out by Techno later on, though. Flying in from the graveyard corner gives them a bit more room to work with. Techno wants to take the lead, wants to take the initiative, but he's given up his life for it. Annihilation cannot afford to miss this shot. And he's done just that. Wings Up will recover. They'll have the time for it as well. Child King gives them 16. All of the back of some crucial mistakes and forfeited rifles.
Yeah, I mean, a heartbreaking way to lose this map. A map that IHC have been stable in picking themselves consistently through Pro League and at Katowice as well. You know, they have chosen to go with this map against international opponents, and now as well losing it to a regional opponent in Wings Up. A fantastic showing and great stuff from like we were mentioning earlier, the new additions of this roster. Flying able to have his impact, while Marek had a bit of a slower game, able to really pick things back up on that CT side, and then you've just got Gas, Lan, you've got, you know, Child King activating. It felt like finally on that CT side we got to see the Wings Up that maybe were a slow starter in this series, but still enough to get past an IHC.
I mean, Gas and Lan effectively gave them that first half, right? They were the only ones who were actually fragging out consistently. They looked incredible. You basically had Marek, I think, on 1 and 13 at some point. Child King wasn't doing too hot either. 2 or 3 kills in the first half. Can't remember the exact number, but yeah, not a good sign for things. But then everyone starts picking things up in the second as you move forward. So even though Mara's having his hero moment after struggling a bit on his own in the first half, Mara's coming through with entries on the B bomb side, this and that. Every time they try to hit the A side, they have failed to do so. I think they've only got 1, maybe 2 bomb plants there, and even there, the retakes end up transpiring. If you're going to be one-dimensional in the sites you can attack, it's always going to be limited. And IHC, beyond Mara getting entries, I just didn't know what the game plan was on T side.
Yeah, I don't even know who you could really target here on the side of IHC for not having showed up. I feel like there was sometimes just incorrect decision making. You know, that certainly is always going to play a factor in a game like Counter-Strike. You're not always going to make perfect decisions, but there are also times where they almost got closer, needed this one important kill and just weren't able to find it, whether it was the rifle of Techno sometimes, or sometimes these AWP shots from Annihilation. It felt like those did really swing the affair back into the favor of the Wings Up side, because Lan was hitting on rifles, AWPs, he was finding opportunities, and especially to lose a round against pistols like that is really going to be probably the biggest mistake that they made in that entire map. So it's a rough showing, but one in which that, you know, they had a chance to show what they had on a map that they're comfortable with. Now they move into their pick as well, one that Wings Up, they've toyed with this themselves, but if you're going to set your foot down, especially in the Asia region, IHC, Rare Atom, Nuke's been a bit of a playground for them.
Yeah, and obviously Wings Up did struggle versus Linvision. They got pretty much one-sidedly wiped on Nuke as well. So let's wait and see exactly what it has in store for us. We're going to go to a break right now. When we're back, it'll be IHC's map pick of Nuke. Can they bring it back, or is Wings Up looking for a date with Lin in the grand finals?
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
The second map and a series that might go and turn the other cheek. Wings Up never having defeated I8C in a full best of 3. When it's come to crucial moments, they have not been able to deliver, but taking that first map in the series, winning their map pick might just set them up for a grand finals appearance here in the ECL Asia Division. We'll have to see how it pans out. Starting on the CT side, Wings Up already getting some information about how this pistol is panning out. One player crossing secret gas is at least cold for his team. That there's some information to be gathered.
Has to be careful while Blitz is positioning, because right now Blitz is just trying to corner him in next to the garage player. Annihilation's going to be taking a late peek. He did have that suspicion, but Annihilation's going to be delayed enough for Gas to be all the way back in the locker rooms. Now the glass separating them breaks initially. No should have information gained. CT's rotating back in through heavens, flying good for one. Gas another found flying, is just defending this bomb site with his life. Lan on the flank is able to get another as well. In the meanwhile, Blitz and Bartek left alone. The two pistol round saviors of CT will be the last to fall, but fall they will. Wings Up start off strong in that pistol round.
Yeah, fantastic work. Just being able to swarm in. IC could never feel comfortable, even though they cracked into this A bomb site. Rotates came out quickly and bought enough time via flying and LAN. Good stuff all in all. And IHC, as much as they might have taken that space and worked off of it, you know, they got someone crossed over towards Secret, but were unable to actually sort of link up or even draw a rotation out of Wings Up towards that lower side of the map. They were not convinced.
A small tech issue going on right now as well. Obviously, we had a few of those in the previous map, but nonetheless, I'd say for them over here, first pistol round loss, and just to remind everyone, on Invictus, oh gosh, man, on Inferno, they lost, Wings Up lost 6 rounds as a result of both pistols and the conversion that came through subsequently, and despite that, were able to win out in a pretty impressive manner. So if IC start losing these pistols, and obviously different map, different price, Wings Up not as comfortable, but it could be spelling out some poor times ahead of them.
Yeah, you consider if they'd won some of those pistols, might not have been quite as close a scoreline. And they will not be contested in the second round here on Nuke. No bomb plant, few kills to speak of. It's all Glocks for the Mongolian squad. Marek will spot them and immediately deploy that smoke so that he can retreat. It does leave Gas somewhat vulnerable to being wrapped in, but he's been sharp, so it's no problem him sweeping up these kills.
Sharp might be an understatement, man. Gas has been, you know, got that Damascus steel katana look going on coming into the series. Marek's looking pretty damn good right now, too. I won't lie. Admittedly, it is unarmored opponents and the like, but hey, anytime I see a Farmers multi-kill with some dingling and dangling between angles, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you know, he's just playing it safe, and nobody really wanted to challenge him because, yeah, they don't have weapons to do so. Blitz has gone around the world, through ramp, down B, through secret, up back, and now reflanking ramp. What on earth is this man up to? All along his journey, he didn't even see a soul.
Definitely not any of his teammates, that's for sure.
But
45 seconds, and all you can really hope for is that the CTs use a bit more utility. Realistically, you are just going to be looking for death, and death will be delivered very soon. Blitz now running away, and into Marek he goes. Marek being gifted that 5-0 start.
for all of that, for all that effort, you know, he was hoping that because he did the most strange rotation that you could have after getting down towards the B bomb site, he was hoping that it would throw them into a little bit of chaos, a little uncertainty, but ended up just being a massive waste of time. Maybe just playing some mind games at the start of this one. Now that we're into the gun round, we'll see if that actually weighs on Wings or not. Smokes to be deployed outside rather quickly, and Lan already deploying one himself. He's personal, he's physical, and he's in their face, but there's 2 players here, and they've accounted for this. That flash actually stopping them from approaching much further than the boxes itself, but SMGs will kick off both sets of affair for both Wings Up and IHC, flying even moving much further with the recovered AK, a man advantage found.
Really strong start for Wings. IHC is completely contained over here. They Really no option but to go towards ramp, it feels like. And sure, they do have the utility to at least try and set up for a bit more, but Blitz is right now just hoping to be able to come down, reconvene with the rest of his team, and maybe just a mini smoke off into A site, hit through hut is a viable option. Could even go for a vent drop or two. Now with positions given up, Molotov to the back of the bomb site, flying force forward, looks away, and Bartek found the frag. Child King as well up on hut, has been connected upon Blitz with the double onto the bomb sites, and right as IHC found themselves in a deficit, they've taken the lead once again. Blitz and Bartek doing it all.
Annihilation. They know exactly where Marek's coming from, and the nade is decent. Does bring him down to 80. Had he had an M4, that would have certainly mattered, but could be just snappy on these individual fights. Bartek getting spammed, but will not move a muscle from his spot. Now a flash deployed. So difficult now for Marek. Fully eating it, and while he certainly has the kid, he's run out of time. He's run out of space. They won't even allow him back into that round. Yeah, started a deficit after the dust settles, but able to claw that away. A nice attack on this A bomb site, one that was run off of very bare bones utility.
Surprised they get away with all of that, for sure. Great timing as well for Bartek to be able to find that first kill out of Flying. Flying was just tracked by the second as Blitz signaled himself, so that's what gives Bartek a free duel. Admittedly, probably ended up coming out on top over there regardless, because he's holding the angle and everything, but it's a lot of things that can go the other way around. You never know.
Yeah, and, you know, we might have looked at that Molotov at the back of the bomb site and thought it wasn't really doing too much because Flying could just re-navigate, but you can see how awkward it made it for him. You know, caught kind of between two angles about whether he had to worry about hut or door, and both were true. Smoke wall and a leaning one at that to allow Blitz to cross. A man that does like solo investigating, you know, running a lurk. We have seen teams do this in the past. It's something that I think has fallen out of favor in the modern meta in terms of just having your in-game leader peruse that area of the map, but that's not the smoke Marek was hoping for. It will still be annoying to deal with, though. Breaking through ramp, number of different angles Marek could take, and even another player on the rotate can join him there. It's not the target. IHC just wanted to show some presence, show their face, and then dip.
Lance not blinded at all. Able to find the first bomb. To look for a little bit more, and Flying's been given so much space to drop the bomb yet again. Bartek, as he hunts around land, will find him as well, and where Blitz had delivered a fantastic round and a chance with it, this is going to be a whole lot more difficult, and with 15 HP, all you can do is try and save this M4.
Great attention.
And absolutely, Michael.
Just great understanding of the attention being drawn to either player. You know, they swung off of each other basically every time IHC weren't looking at them.
No, really, really nicely done. Obviously, before we saw Blitz being able to just come out straight through with a couple of great entries, but that is also one of the problems you will have when you don't have your IGL with the entry back. I'm not saying they don't have a secondary caller. You've got Mara on the team right now. It's the most obvious secondary caller you can imagine. But it is going to be a little bit more difficult to be able to get those coordinated pushes through, especially when so much IC's playstyle is structured around Blitz or sometimes Techno being able to get those entry kills that they are being set up for, and that Blitz is trying to set them up for in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not pretty.
No, it isn't.
Certainly not the scariest looking thing in the world, but because Blitz saves, nobody decides to buy with him. He'll be the only propellant that they can utilize. And it's hard to start a fire with only sticks and stones. Not impossible. Get a couple of sparks on that propellant, and maybe things can get cooking. They have lost Techno. He was in charge of just keeping some pressure over towards A, but with him dying so quickly, the jig might be up. Wings Up didn't stick around, didn't continue holding on to that information, so the fact that they've navigated their way down towards Secret, relatively uncontested and unspotted, is a massive benefit to them, because it might allow them to get this bomb plant down for free.
Also gives them a whole lot more for Blitz to be able to work off of in the next round, so that's quite nice for them. Now all about making sure you don't lose too many players. Sharp shooting from Marek. Deep Molotov. M4 is already lost. Shouldn't be losing anyone at this point onwards unless you're making a crucial mistake up against Mara's P250. But as Marek is going to be going for the defuse, Bartek down and out. Mara is just wanting to get the hell out of there. Save that Kevlar. Maybe he can drop in for Blitz as well as a result of that and be on a slightly weaker buy for his own utility to be guaranteed. I'm not exactly sure what the loss bonus is, but yeah.
Yep, it's all good. So they will be able to take that forward. No problems whatsoever. I think we were at 2,900. So here we sit with a full investment, and sure, there will be a Galil in Blitz's hands, but considering he came in to that round with $600, that's I mean, that's more than enough. And they will not be able to work around or have the AWP of Annihilation. He had the funds to do it, but would have had to compromise his armor and could have compromised his life. We kind of talked and touched about how the T-side qualms and issues for IHC weren't really stemming off the fact of the AWP, or couldn't have been rectified, I suppose, by simply having that ult. And that seems to be true as well here on Nuke.
Obviously, he's also a really good hand on the rifle too, right?
Yeah. Most modern AWPers are. Long gone are the days of that being acceptable.
JDM, you will be remembered.
You know, like Drain had it too. There
Most people, honestly.
Yeah.
At one point, that was a narrative around Guardian and Kenny that they're okay as riflers.
Yeah.
And that's why they're tier 1, right?
Gotta be able to do it all.
Lan is the only player down here in the B-bomb site ready to actually contest, and this grenade could be massive. Oh, he wants a fight in behind it. That is a mistake and a half. Annihilation. Low bomb site's going to be given up. Marek's rotation is timely, though. He's been good in position consistently. Gas as well, now making his way over. They've taken the long way around, and they might end up regretting it. Gas traded out. 3 and 4, flashbangs galore. Marek is gone, and IHC are going to be looking to contain Wings at 4. Smoke down as well with 2 and 3 with 5 seconds. If they can creep through, the bomb can be denied as well. The bomb can't be planted. Oh, they've given it right up. IHC. Mara too far away to make a difference. 5-1. Wings up will not let go of this lead. Not even close.
Oh dear. They really went to try and put that smoke down just so that they had no sight lines in from ramp, because they knew that there was heavy pressure there. But the fact that they don't use that smoke instead to secure this bomb plant, it just means that Mara, on this long lurk that he's trying to accomplish, just cannot contribute. He was hoping that they'd be able to stay alive, be able to get that bomb plant down, and then, you know, then we have a conversation about that flank. But Wings Up were quick about it. They were on their toes. And Wings Up really proving to be formidable foes. Great flash, flying full blinded. Chalking will sweep up 1, but they didn't track him down while he was blind. And now that he can see you, he's a threat. That's all that's left after every single one of his teammates falls. A 6th found against the anti-rush, anti-half buy. IHC find very little.
Not looking like a good sign at all for the Mongolians. This is brutal. And I know it's a CT side of Nuke and everything, but again, need I remind everyone, this very same Wings Up, yes, this one, they went up against Lin Vision on the CT side. All they got were 5 rounds, and even that was with a bit of a comeback towards the end of the first half. Lin Vision was dominating them.
Yeah, outcalling them. Constantly had them look in the wrong direction, rotating the wrong place. That has not been the case here. Mark as well. I mean, you know, very slow starter on that first map, but has been leading the way here for Wings Up now on the defense. You said some sharp shooting, but he's also now instigated on the action. Ooh. Does get a little haphazard, throws a smoke to Decon and will lose his life for it, but he already got the info and lands unaccounted for as a result.
3B picked up, so back in the advantage once the retake will begin. Lan. Slow pair forward. CTs largely have to start funneling in through the ramp. Gas will be very far away. All he's going to be looking for is Bartek and making sure that this flank coming in for LAN is going to be taken care of. Gas should be able to find this first one pretty quickly. Bartek is gone. Will be expecting the second. Child King been spotted and attacked. LAN's got another one, and it's all down and over. I8C will collapse and crumble. This B bomb site can be occupied, but not for long enough to blow it up.
Yeah, they're getting dominated. They are just unable to get much of anything in these rounds. You know, just being able to get that bomb down does allow them, you know, access to another buy, but they really need to consider where the weakness lies here for Wings Up, because they have been able to get a solid crack in. You know, their success on the A site when they started 3-on-4 is the only round that they've been able to attain so far. And that wasn't on the fly decision. That was more of a mid-round call because they wanted to set up for outside control, you know, and then maybe consider their options. And it was a bit heroic, but there's a problem with heroism is that it does require some level of a poor situation to begin with. Someone that needs saving or to be saved. And that is not what you expected to happen coming into this series. I8C, the damsels in distress. Who's going to be the one to wear the cape?
No outside presence early on either. Techno, great entry. Marek's been a crucial man, and sure, he ended up going down early on in the previous one before the retake could come and play, but even then, got the information necessary. This is a different situation that I8C have not really had before. For a second, I thought there was a guy pushing out into flying. God, I got scared.
Yeah, happy it's his teammate that happens to greet him first. But no one on the lower side of the map. You know, they lose Marek, but they were not swift to rotate. And given that they lost this kill so easily, like, you look at their money, and it is good enough that they can certainly justify going for this. But
yeah,
given their positions, they actually did mind to save.
They'd rather not mess with it, right? They just how fast things can get away from you. Their money is good enough to buy in the next round, but look at Marek. He's on 2,300. Looking for lying 38 as well. This is the money that you have where you buy in for one more round, maybe two if you're saving, and then you are... then you're feeling a bit unhappy on the sidelines, wondering why your bank account is saying you're an overdraft and you owe them money instead.
Yeah, and also just, you know, this is about as nightmarish as can be. This is kind of like losing a solitary B player on Dust 2, where, you know, once he dies, you kind of do just have to... You either have to commit to a flank or be aggressive somewhere else on the map to justify going for it, or it's most likely just a lost round. Nuke is much worse in that respect, is that once they got that kill and they go in towards the lower side, they can cut off so many different rotates. You know, they could be all the way through to the secret steps by then. They could have taken over the vents because Wings Up were clearing outside. They were hoping to find a lurk, maybe to bring it to 4-on-4, but once they didn't find that, it was a done deal. So all it takes is one kill from Techno, his first kill in this game, funnily enough, and I8C have broken into a second round.
Wondering if Gas wants to get aggressive. That's something on outside that we've largely seen neglected. Marek's the one who's actually making his way very quickly back to Secret. Great grenade. And Marek wants to take a peek, perhaps. Will be a pretty good point to do so, as the L smokes are being lined up from I8C, if I'm not wrong. And that can be pretty nicely countered out. Good Molotov. Second one comes through as well, so they've completely cleared out the bunch of it. And Marek will be forced off, but they've used most of their utility for this, and they cannot go through the smoke right now. Gas, vigilant eye out. As Blitz will start to move through, he's gone back to the credit card. They are trying to circle around. Only one player down in Secret, and even he is exploring Annihilation. Just wants to make sure Marek is not pushing into them and finding out information. 55 on the clock. It is ticking down, but CTs have got no reason to start moving around yet. Hands up, trained into ramp room. Gas as he takes the peek forward. Run boost coming out from I8C to get a safer peek, but shouldn't matter all too much.
It feels like they are taking a little too long to get this one situated. after all their efforts to try and find an opening duel, finally Wings Up have struck first, and the bomb needs to be recovered at 25 seconds left. Mar able to claw it back to equal numbers, and out on the bomb site, tried to go for even more, but reinforcements is here now for Wings Up, and so it won't go too far away. Blitz all the way in CT spawn, hoping to find a flanking player, or at least a flank onto a Heaven player. Techno needs to find this duel and keep himself alive. If he gets caught on transit with that bomb, it would be a done deal, but Blitz covers from the high ground. A second player in from main, and Marek does find him. 50 HP remaining, both players weakened. And Techno inside of the back of the bomb site knows he's pinned in position. Marek could be anywhere. He could take the high ground. He has to consider everything. And Techno, so few kills in this game, but none more important than those two. A third round for IHC.
Even Blitz finding that an immediate headshot is the only way they're able to keep Techno alive over there. Otherwise, the off was going to be what's speaking out after him. You get a shot, you get 2, you get 3 on the body, it doesn't matter. I see the slimmest of margins imaginable, and you can see Wings, they're still feeling confident. They're still feeling like they've got this going on, but these super late round decisions are exactly what actually helped out Blitz and company to win against Clutch Gaming as well. This could be the difference maker if IHC are able to pull this off. Consistency, nearly impossible to find with their method like this, but maybe this is the game where they can have a miracle transpire.
Yeah, and you asked for outside pressure. Here it is now from Wings Up.
Fans taking the lead on it. Gas is just here as insurance. Smoke's being lined up. They know it's coming their way. Is there a flashbang from Flying available to try and deploy? Land's going to be taking the peak, taking the charge. They've been mollying out Secret consistently. He knows what's going to be coming their way. Gas is gone. There goes out the safety net. Lan needs to come up big with the multi, and this is not the gun to do it with. The one has been found. The second not aware. Annihilation gives them the advantage. Child King responds. Techno found, but gets the kill. And this is where he's really waking up. Child King suffering the brunt of a fully woken up Techno.
Yeah, and I asked who was going to be the one to wear the cape, and finally we're seeing some of the answers, whether it's been Annihilation, Blitz, or Techno. They've been able to have some very high influence in these past few rounds, and now they finally burst through that built-up bank of Wings Up. Every weapon saved is a weapon that they can have into a future round. IHC aren't going down with just a whimper. And, you know, I'm just going to reel back to a point you made a couple rounds ago about how outside has been typically neglected from Wings Up. That was actually one of the big vulnerabilities, the big weaknesses we saw versus Lin Vision, never having information in that area of the map. And it feels like they've made an adaptation. You know, we're starting to see Marek be a bit more proactive, sometimes cheating towards the secret steps. We're seeing Lan and Gas, you know, at least hazard the look and actually consider it as a possibility, because before they were playing from deep CT, Heaven, and sometimes missing the timing on players crossing, and it would leave them just very exposed, especially on their B players.
Problem is all of that might not matter if you're ending up losing out the advantage on outside as well. So IHC up to 4, set up for 5. Could very easily see them even going back to 6 with the way this is going. Wings Up need to be able to put their foot down in the next round, and soon.
But it just shows as well, like, even from that loss that they had to Lin Vision, they have taken some lessons away from it, and they've reinforced their nuke. You know, their setups are looking much better. They're being more fluid. So it's added to some of the difficulties here from IHC. But this is the hardest stretch now for Wings Up to hold onto this lead with 2 hands. You know, starting to bite at their heels, and now they're not coming in with an optimal buy. Could mean that IHC are allowed 5.
Oh. It's a lot of damage to the Blitz as well. That is going to be found out. Gun can be recovered. There's no one outside. IHC, they're starting to sweat about this. And the push will be a little bit late. Remember, there's 2 players down in secret already, so they'll be able to clear out outside very soon afterwards. Child King just has to make sure that hell isn't given up. The secret players can go back down to the lower bomb site. Molotov being filled isn't exactly going to be helpful either. Child King is just set up for more success. If they start to move in, Child King, his footsteps have been given away. He's trying to bait them forward into a peak. He's set up for glory. Will he be able to achieve it? No, only the one The 3-on-3. And that's Flying coming into play. AK picked up. Can't get more done than he needs to. Mara all alone. 1-on-2. Flying hidden out. And Mara will drop down, making noise as he does so. Flying playing around the bomb site. Time aplenty. Mara's Glock can't get it done. 8 for Wings Up right when they needed to. IHC will be stopped.
And they only went in with a half-buy. They were floating cash because they were anticipating having to reinvest in weapons, but why not just take them off your opponent? Why not just surprise them like that? Thought Child King only getting that 1 kill was going to come back to bite them, but what an effort there from Flying to stay alive, show that presence, find isolated fights before the Heaven Wrap came out. A crucial, a pivotal moment for Wings Up to gain more separation and shake the confidence once again here from IHC that you imagine they were already concerned when they were staring down the barrel 7-1. Now Wings Up are in with an 8th. Smokes down outside once again. They will try and set up Blitz to have some success on his lurks. Second smoke's a little late, but Blitz will cross with it.
Okay, what is this going on over
And
here?
there is no third. Oh, here it is.
Gosh, if there wasn't more of a giveaway, I'm not sure.
They built the wall brick by brick.
Blitz, the bricklayer, called to arms. It is time for war, and Marek will be the first man to move past for IHC. They will not have a flashbang. They will not have a chance of the big Marek with 2. Able to keep it in the 3-on-3, so despite a good entry, it's all they'll have. Gas inside the Molotov will burn. Stays true to his name, but burns out very quickly in the flames. 3-on-3.
Has been so clean on some of those sprays before, but that not one of them. And being a man down and losing control of this B-bomb site, they never even got full confirmation on all these players. Blitz already being located inside a secret. Was kind of hoping to link up with his players, but not needed. And Wings Up realized their dire the dire situations that they find themselves in, and so will move to save. This is a 5th round for IHC, and sure, it didn't happen against the pistols, but against rifles, they will succeed. That is so unfortunate for Child King.
Yeah.
Flatch hits him in the noggin, and so Blitz got the extra heads up. He was trying to play an off angle. Collection by committee as well from IHC. We thought the discrepancy are not too high, even with the little curveball thrown in there by Wings Up. Tried to change their setup, have Marek not only act as anchor. As soon as they got that 1 kill at ramp, they thought, okay, let's go. Nades out, you know, let's make it awkward for the rotates, but there was already an extra man there. So right setup, not enough production. Maybe he'd hoped that it would only just be Marek to fall in the off angle. Losing both is too much. You know, it seemed a little comical, it seemed a little weird that, you know, Blitz's wall of smokes was kind of built 1 smoke at a time. But it is probably very awkward and very confusing to have to be on the receiving end of that as well. Where, okay, they've burned 1 smoke, and there's another, and there's another. Is this all just 1 person? Is it 3 people? You don't really know.
Is it a really poorly constructed fake?
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, for sure. Lan, might have seen the barrel. Now trying to flick back, unable to find the frag. Bartek, though, brought down low. Lots of damage, and it's Flying to finish him off. Lan wants to keep it going. Flying's got another one. They just can't move past these half-buys. IHC, the bane of their existence, the end of their money, the fall of their empire. Set up for 10 now on Wings Up.
Yeah, and Marek hasn't slowed down either. You know, being able to get 2 kills alongside Flying, who has been doing stellar so far in these playoffs. What a time to come alive and to win half-buys consistently here for Wings Up. Yeah, it's just going to feel so poor if you're IHC. Part of the reason they lose Inferno is very much the same kind of buy, and it has plagued them in this best of 3. Last round of the half for IHC. See if they can push to a 6th at the very least. Wings Up could be up to double digits. They certainly have deserved it Very good DT. Good entry and good counter kills, but Techno in with the trade as well, and he's doubled up. That rotate did nothing for them. Gas finally dealing with the lurk at the very least. 2-on-3, they need to go.
Mark needs to be able to find this kill early on, make it a 2-on-2, but Mara's just good with the information, backs out. Doesn't want anything to do with it. You know where Gas is as well from earlier on. Marek takes the risk of having Util in his hand, and it will at least give him a bit more space to be able to move out and over Marek. Time is ticking down. He's the only one with a kit. Cannot afford to be losing his life here, but position now revealed. Gas gets the kill. Mara able to take him down. Annihilation turns around, and he's able to end it. 6 fan for IHC, the bare minimum. Can they do it in the second half? We'll find out after a break. Backs against the wall. The Mongolian side has proven that they've still got some spunk left in them. 6-9, and IHC have started fighting back, but it is still an uphill battle.
Yeah, all about whether or not they can unload all that extra spunk onto this CT side as well. They can only carry over so many rounds. They can only find that resurgence in the tail end of that first half. Now finally, Wings Up are put under a bit of pressure because that lead they had, they've let slip. T-side will be very important, and the flash that will try and sail out Mara in a great angle, but cannot deal with the cross. Child King quick.
I've also managed to sneak Marek in back to the hell position. That's where Bartek is going to be re-navigating to with Techno. If Marek can get even one kill, that's massive, but Techno catches the timing and catches the face. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The hands, but not quite exactly what I thought. King, though, that's about the slowest duel that you've ever seen, but Bartek Stone just comes out and swipes it away from them. 3-on-4, Wings Up have lost the advantage.
Yeah, considering they were shooting for such a long time, it's very odd that it wasn't him that finished off the job. Blitz as well with his dualies will be a little bit more precise. Flying down, and Gas too separated from LAN. It might be a kill in lower, but they are too heavily detached. Gas, no chance of getting onto this bomb, not anywhere nearby, and finds good timing. Bartak, okay, even though sitting duck, Gas cannot finish off the job. IHC in with a pistol and closing that gap quite quick. That was kind of a disappointing way to lose the pistol.
Yes, that is true, especially after you shot off with that picking shot from Child King. Just, waddles in outside of the P250, bang, there goes Mara.
Yeah.
But now I'd see all focuses on one singular thing, Michael. Please don't lose to the anti-ecos.
Yes. I don't think they've lost to an eco fully. Oh my god. Oh
gotta say it, right? You gotta say it.
Not lost to what? They
oh
got
my god, he's been knifed as well. He got into the vent. That's where Blitz has been knifed. It's a 5-on-3. They've recovered the rifles as well. This is all becoming too rare, too quick. Flying gets another one. Techno and Annihilation. Now just Annihilation left to save the day. A 1-on-3. Tragedy has already struck, and Annihilation be the hero to bring them out of it. Bomb down on the site. The one advantage he has, only the one, but tagged up, forced back. Bomb can be planted, LAN able to commit to it, and now he's got angles for days. This man needs a protractor because he can't measure any one of them. Gets caught out, Child King to shut him down. 3 frags for the man. Oh my god.
They lose to Glocks. They lose to Glocks. There's a P250 thrown in there, but it doesn't even have impact.
It's and a knife. How'd you get worse than a Glock? How'd you get worse than a Glock?
That is about the worst thing that we've seen from IHC in terms of dealing with these anti-ecos, these anti-force buys, and not the caliber that you're expecting out of a squad that have been the main focus, the fixated point. 2 times in a row did they attend majors as representatives from the Asia region, and they might just be picked apart by Wings Up when ESL Pro League is what lies ahead. A ticket into the finals and a chance to deal with Lin for that very spot. A spot that IHC might have felt like they were destined to be at. A team that they've faced in the finals multiple seasons in a row. And they are struggling here against a Wings Up squad that have seen a new look, have added new players. Good damage on the half investment, or rather the full commitment, the force buy from IHC. These pistols in their face, and Wings Up have slowed the pace.
I've realized they want to back off. It's all about Marek, who's found Annihilation as well. Mara, the only person defending the A-bomb side, and you can see the CTs are recontemplating their decisions. They want to try and stack over towards the A-bomb site, perhaps just come through with the lobby crunch and find a lurker. Listen, that might be the right call to make, but Mara right now is about to be discovered and sandwiched in, flying to come through. Mara's good for 1, not quite 2. Techno, there he goes with the deagle. Collecting on 1, Bartek's flank as well. Is it back to back? It might as well be Techno. Finds him and eliminates him. What is going on in this game?
This one's not quite as bad. This was a force buy. They invested armor and pistols and utility. They made it awkward. They made it uncomfortable for Wings Up, and they were very fast to actually reinforce that lower side, which is why they decided to go the other way. They turned the other cheek. But yeah, it's been unstable. The nuke has been unstable for both of these squads. Good news for Wings is that because they had saved and they'd sort of won and overturned on Glocks, they had residual funds available.
Just as a reminder to everyone as well, this is the same Techno that was 008. Now he's 12 and 13.
Yeah. Gap in that smoke. Oh.
Well. That's not good.
No. Don't know if the lineup's bad. Who threw that second smoke? Actually, it actually might have been the first one that was a little bit too far off to the right-hand side. Either way, Blitz lightning quick. After he wasn't even pre-aiming the gap.
Oh. Annihilation's given up the advantage back to 3-on-3 and lots of time. No utility for the CTs. They will have to make a move. How much success can they find off the back of one?
A reliance on land and flying, but a familiar feeling. I know I've seen the same flying on map number 1, but has been hyper impactful these playoffs for the Wings Up squad and continues to do so here on Nuke. Solo man on B, and there will be a slow move to reinforce it, but very hard to activate here on Mara. Not planted where he's exposed, but Lan actually takes the duel. He could have very well just simply planted that bomb, had teammates covering from distance, but now it's a full 3-on-3 for the retake.
Techno's heard the reload. Will reveal his position. Mara's already low, remember. Child King now being set up for success. Good for one. Can't get the spray transfer. Techno's gone. Lan re-navigates away. He is relatively safe. Flying will be able to cover off his cross, but no, Bartek creeps out underneath the rafters. Now Flying's all alone. The bomb is planted for him, but can he line it up in time? Trying to get the pre-fire, getting the first 1 second, not quite getting there in time. The Galil! Oh, the Galil Flying just didn't feel comfortable going for the spray at long range, and the burst was just not enough.
Yeah, not the most accurate weapon at distances like that, but enough to at least deal with one of those duels, just not quite quick enough. Couldn't quite hit the head. That sucks. Give him an AK in that position and he most likely wins it. That did feel like just an issue of bullet variance. But IHC will take it. They'll take what they can get. They are just shy now of double digits. One behind Wings Up who are going quick.
Mara's realist position with the MP9 is going to have to be careful. Flashbang through. They've got the one. Flying's made it 2. Annihilation. Traded out for another double, but he is going to be able to find the same of his own. Flying 3 in the round so far. Smoke is good for the one-way. Annihilation pushes forward, finds the bomb planter. They can play around in the vicinity as well, but Bartek caught between angles and targets will end up giving up the round. Wings Up have once again reset the CT side economy.
Yeah, I felt like some confusion there from Annihilation and Bartek not communicating to each other what they wanted to do in that moment. Annihilation throws that smoke, just barrels out, and tried to get Bartek on the same page, but there was actually an issue of the gun model seemingly blocking vision there for Annihilation coming out from heaven. If you want to go out that area, swinging and having left-hand view model actually does help because it does obscure your vision. They're going to continue that pace against these pistols, and they will succeed in finding one, but Mara, an immediate counter kill, and doesn't swing out wide. Gas could have been a sitting duck if that was the case, but Annihilation 1-on-4 now presented in front of him, and there is a weapon that can be retrieved. Gas, in fact, will just deliver one himself. This should be a save. And it should be a pickup for Annihilation to simply hold on to the next round, but they're already spread out to make sure this doesn't happen.
They really want to hunt him down. They know the money isn't great for IT. This is where they want to stomp on their throats. And I'm telling you one thing, Annihilation's going to have trouble breathing. The way he's just been dealt with. IHC, another round to be forfeit, more likely than not, unless they can pull together a USB miracle. Wings Up are looking at 13. And they feel like they might practically be there.
What a journey and a story this would be for Wings Up. People got excited last year, ESL Melbourne, or Challenger Melbourne, where they beat OG, a different looking team now, making 2 roster moves since, bringing in Flying and Marek, adding more structure to what was already a team that, if you look back at that OG game, were making it super difficult for them to play. CT side, Ancient in particular, super meticulous, great protocols. Wings Up bring in a different bout of leadership and some more experience with it as well via Flying, and it has really been quite electrifying. They could be in for a destined rematch with Lynn in the grand finals. But dealing with these USPs, dealing with the rounds that follow, and not getting caught out by any shenanigans from IHC is also just as important. That meticulous nature, and they will only lose 1 player in their effort. Child King fully bouncing back in this series as well. It feels like the stars that have been active throughout most of the playoffs are really here to play to finally kick the dirt on top of IHC.
This is IHC's last chance to start bringing it back. Annihilation's got the op. We've only got 1 incendiary, I understand. Techno has been a real heavy hitter for a few rounds, but now 4 in a row with only just the 1 kill that he's found across a lot of them. Is that slow construction? Blitz trying to find another kill or 2 through the smoke, but this time nowhere near as effective in doing so. He's stolen a leaf from his notebook, and as notebook, well, it's looking pretty goddamn good right now. Flying been left behind on the lurking shenanigans that we know he always will be on. Annihilation up at the ready. If this is a dry peak to come through, more likely than not will just be a kill, but the Molotov will force Annihilation back. Smokes himself off. Wants to take the fight, but he's missed a shot, and the chance now whiffed out. Has to re-navigate back. The CT's rotating down under. They're also looking for Flying up in the lobby. Flying needs to stay alive. Will he be able to do so? Even gets a kill while he's going back and forth between the bunch of them. Blitz trying to isolate the duel, but in doing so, he will be giving up the B-bomb site, and Flying is just an eel. He's so slippery. The upper bomb site's now been navigated back to Earth. Child King's got another. Marek's gone down in the meanwhile. Blitz, another found. Blitz position revealed, and they want to contest, but Gas is not quite sure about where this Vents player is coming in from. Annihilation's found the bomb planter. Gas now 1-on-2, and he just can't find it. Annihilation, 3 kills for him at the end of things. But it's still IHC in hot water as far as their money is concerned.
Yeah, he was thrust into a 1-on-3 there, and he threw a Molotov that didn't make it all the way down the vents. That's what helps keep Gas extra distracted. He realized his mistake rather quickly, and that's what allowed Annihilation to somehow peel through from heaven to drop that bomb. Didn't know where that 3rd player was at any given point, and Gas certainly made it expensive on his exit. Will lead to some compromising rifles or weapons for IHC, but that might actually force them for an aggro peak instead. Double pushing ramp. Wings don't have presence here.
Alright, gone by the wayside, but in the process of switching, he's lost his life on Mara. Flying might have gotten a team kill, but he's okay with that regardless. Advantage is massive. At Barclay's position, he's hidden away, now spotted out. They're so thorough. They're so meticulous. Annihilation finds another, and Bartek swing out has dropped the bomb. An advantage quickly found, lost even more so. The speed at which Bartek is able to reposition and adjust the angle and priority that he has to go for is so commendable. But Flying now going for the bomb tap. Bartek reveals his position. Annihilation also. They know where he is. A smoke down, a shot likely to be fired out soon. Annihilation doesn't want to risk it, doesn't chance it. Flying sets himself up for a 1-on-2, only a Molotov to work with. And remember, Annihilation's slow creep backwards is going to be accelerated the second he hears that door being opened. This is a very risky plant to go for, and that's exactly why.
Yeah, no, great read there from Annihilation as well. Just realizing that if he was going to plant for anywhere, especially if he thinks this site is free, he wants to leave himself at least one area where he's not going to get shot in the back. Decon could have been a quick flank there from the player inside of Hut. And also, Annihilation not firing off that shot in from lobby does also make it a lot harder to read if you're thrown into a clutch like that, no confirmation on positions, he could have relocated a long time ago. So I'd see still some extra kick to them. While they do trail by 2. This Wings Up will once again try and go for a fast A play.
Techno Annihilation and Mara completely prevent that possibility from transpiring, and Wings Up and not just looking down. Losing this round, this is IHC examining the possibility of a 13-all equalizer. Money as well saved up in this one. Child King can hope to make it slightly more expensive, but a 1-on-5, surely not.
Yeah, if they lose a 1-on-5, that would complete the checklist of rounds you hate to see. It won't happen.
Annihilation has really stepped up in these past few rounds. It's so important, some of the kills that he's been able to find.
Yeah, and you know, we've certainly noted, you know, and seen throughout these playoffs, Annihilation's actually had sometimes rough games on this AWP. His rifling has increased in proficiency. It feels like over the past 6 months, 8 months, he's really had a lot of impact on rifles. But I wonder if that's bringing away something from his AWPing prowess as well. Hasn't mattered in some of these moments, like you said, critical frags being found. These are highly impactful. But do wonder if, you know, old style Annihilation would hit some of these shots. Ooh, Noisy on the retreat down ladder. Techno might be able to find Flying trying to creep the smoke. Yeah, and will succeed in doing so. Didn't take the bait Flying, but doesn't succeed with anything else either. And this is a non-investment, a non-starter round from Wings Up. Not expecting too much from this. But you never know sometimes. They didn't expect much from their Glock round either.
IHC has guaranteed buys for the rest of this half, though, at the very least, off the back of this.
Well, that's implying
maybe
they don't lose any more.
Yeah, maybe I've spoken too quickly, but Gas, have 4 on his back, wants to stick to the Tech 9. Better on the 1-bullet accuracy at range, rather 1-bullet killing potential at range, sure, but well, I said pretty much everything else. Gas, 30 seconds on the clock. He knows he wants to go down soon. There's really no one peeking into him. A smoke will separate him from Bartek, but likely a spam to follow through. And Bartek just wants to keep him at bay. Stop any more damage from transpiring. Cass is dodging bullets left, right, and center. Picks up 1. Some damage on Tamara, but it won't be enough. Even so, money's looking good for IT.
They would need to lose 2 rounds back-to-back to then be thrown into a little bit of economic turmoil. But I think if that happens, the game might just be over anyway. Time to worry. Wings Up not in the best spot either. A couple, or at least a Galil out, and they will not have an AWP to contest Annihilation at distance, who has been a problem player thus far.
We've seen plan A from Wings Up. That was the outside smokes. Plan B was faster A-sided hits now. It's a bit of both to come through from them. Techno, good for the first shot. King is gone. Molotov spreading out over towards him, and that's what'll bring him down from the hut position. But Lands lost most of his life. Annihilation's rotation over. The AWP will be backing off. He thinks that they might be rerouting for A, and this is where Blitz's position is going to be oh so very crucial. Minute on the clock, plenty of time for Blitz to second guess himself as well. We saw Marek popping off from this angle with the farmers, but it's Marek again from the side, just finds him, shuts him down, 4-on-4. No utility for the post plant though.
And that's a big mistake there from Blitz. Opened the door decon so that he could get himself in that position, and it comes back to bite him. 4-on-4, and they know the vents is occupied, somewhat covered off. One angle, but Techno won't clear the other, and so the vents is completely off limits. Still 3-on-3, and they really want to contest for this. The fact they've got some floating money.
Annihilation moving inwards. Smoke down on the bomb. He does have a kid as well. They need to get onto it soon. They're going to be trying to go for the reload. Bartek gets the one frag, but it will not matter as he finds his way back to the bomb. He's lost his way inside the smoke. The spam is there. The spray as well. But Bartek, it gets dangerously close.
He defused it.
And his last few... What? Huh?
He got it.
Not again. That's the second time. Bartek on the lower bomb site. That's when he died.
And he did. But just a moment too late. They were both spamming it. Two sets of bullets that do not connect. Only 4 needed between them to convert that round. And Bartek couldn't find the bomb in the smoke for the longest time.
Everything went wrong there for IHC. Everything.
Yeah, that should have been a 1 round. Blitz had the be-all end-all position, but gets caught off by the lurk of Marek, who has been playing very, very, very solid on this Wings Up side so far. Especially on CT, he was just kind of everywhere, but now on T, things are getting a lot more difficult. They are not going out without a fight. This could have been a 2-0 for Wings Up, but some crucial rounds being won. No more surprise, crazy moments that Wings Up can rely upon. And that wall of smokes is missing one right down the middle. It's not exactly the prettiest solution, but they do get another one down that will deny an obscure vision for IHC. They're going to try and burst onto the A play, and Techno immediately smoking off the Molotov. No one committing onto the bomb site aside from Child King. They're trying to reroute, but Child King's found.
Bartek reveals his position, will be forced to back off. Annihilation gets another one. Wings Up. This round is effectively over. Bartek's spray as well just keeps them from moving in onto ramp itself. Marek's found Annihilation on the flank. Knows Bartek shouldn't be too far off either, but he doesn't want to reveal himself all too soon. Bartek is down. They've brought it back to a 3-on-3. A 5-on-3. It felt like they had every single advantage imaginable, but again, it's a treacherous B bomb. It's like the treacherous depths of B where they have to head over to Blitz. Reveals his position. Traded out all too quickly. Gas knows. And there could be another coming in from behind, but Mara and Techno positions given up. Now Techno to fall. Mara out in the open, shows himself off as well. The bomb cannot be planted yet. They're rerouting back to vents. They have to be so careful. Mara is right into this perfectly. They want to take the swing. They want to take the peek. Mara, Molotov to be able to separate the two. The bomb is kept away. Marek will die to the Molotov. Mara, target in the back. Gas to shut him down. The chaos is everywhere, but Wings Up will prevail a single round, but they have to struggle for it oh so very much.
And I said the conditions for breaking the money for IHC was going to be back-to-back losses. The fact that they won 1 round but had no survivors and now have also lost the follow-up, their money is in a bad spot. This has not been pretty, not been the easiest game of Nuke for either of these teams, and it still hangs by a thread. And IHC are going to have to do it with very little to combat what could be a Wings Up 15.
This comes in a game where IHC have lost to Glocks, but won 2 effective ninjas as well. Bartek, the one to deliver both. Can they win a half by? The Deagle of Blitz, the 5-7 of Bartek. They've already got 1 out from underneath their belts in this half already. 2 might be a little bit too much to ask for.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't even remember the second ninja. I'll put that out right play in the open. This game has had so many crazy rounds. So many weird moments.
Maybe not exactly a ninja, yeah, but just a Galil. The most visible ninja you've ever seen.
And nerves must be right up there. I'd see their chance of making it to the follow-up season of ESL Pro League could have flashed right before their eyes. And you either stare that vision in the face and accept it, or you try and do something to stop it. And they may have done enough. This buy, they need to find something good, but Gas already finding Blitz on his outside presence. He is a nuisance in that area, so typically. But now Mara is under the microscope.
The pressure of the world on his shoulders, and he's not able to deliver from the angle. Wants to reposition. Bartek shows himself off. 5-7, unable to collect, and the swing out. Mara can't find the heads, can't find the frags, can't locate them at all. Mara, I struggle to see him in this position, called up to the tallest of tasks, and he just cannot deliver. All down to Annihilation, a 1-on-4, not even in a spot where you'd think saving is really much of an option, and he doesn't want it to be, does not want it to be. $1,900 is what IHC has left to fight for OT.
From losing a 3-on-5 the last round over to now being pressed up against the wall. 15-14, they need one of these they need this force buy to convert to push us to OT. Flying already at 30 kills. Every single one of these players not far behind him either. Barlan, who, you know, the AWPers haven't been able to find much impact in this game. Annihilation certainly on the resurgence, able to find his influence, but it has been rifling dominant in this map. And what is the call? How do you even make a buy like this work? Will IHC be pulled away from their destinies? You know, you look at this playoff bracket, it looked like it was a certainty that they would have that rematch with Lin Vision, another finals appearance for them. But Wings Up have come in with some extra grit, extra vigor, and want that chance themselves.
Mara's already been naded out. 13 HP is all he's been left with. Wings could show their youth right now and crumble, or take this chance to put down the wounded Tigers of IHC. In the meanwhile, Blitz, for his back, will be able to clear out outside completely. Wings can't play this as passive as they have been tending to do so far, with the commitment coming in towards the last 35-40 seconds. They will soon start to feel the map close in around their necks before they even come to terms with the possibility. Drops down. Techno. 5-7. Knows he'll have to push through. Mara has to come up big. Spots him out. Good for the one. Can he get the two? Yes, he can, but opportunity has been squandered. Flying and Marek find the kills. 3 is all that differentiates them from a win and a date with Lin. But Annihilation still prevails. Still stands tall, but not too strong. Blitz to trade. Another spotted out by Child King. Will stop them from coming through. It's all Techno. Oh, can't get it. The one-on-one is what it comes down to. The very slimmest of margins. Wings Up will be able to make it to the grand finals for the first time, and a rematch arranged with Lin Vision up there to fight for EPL Season 18.
Holy hell, and what a way to do it as well, to have come through with some crazy rounds, ridiculous moments, some uncharacteristic mistakes and punishments from that Wings Up side against an IHC that everyone has their attentions drawn onto. It felt like we were going to see them in the finals. It felt like that was their destiny, but Wings Up stripped them right from that title. They are not the best in Asia, not in current form, not with Mara and these roster moves that are currently in transitionary periods. It's not ideal for IHC, but that's exactly what makes it so ripe for the picking for these other teams that have been on the precipice, that are often denied opportunities to make it to international chances, to show what they have against some of the best. That's exactly what Wings Up are trying to snatch at, but they have to beat Lin first to get there.
And that's going to be a tough time for them, but Mara have to commend him all throughout the playoffs. He's put up performance after performance, but unfortunately for them, it was always going to have to come to a stop at one point or the other, and this was that point. They dreamed of the ESL Pro League Season 18 will be delayed to Season 45 of the Challenger League, because right here and now they have been eliminated. Wings Up in the meanwhile, though, they were at Melbourne. They were able to get some upsets out over the favorites there. The question is, can they get a favorite here to find their way back to Malta this time over?
Yeah, and it's not like it's all doom and gloom as far as how things are sort of panning out for them. Like there is, I think, another path that they can make it in via Challenger Melbourne. But yeah, it is one of those situations where it is just a surprise to see IHC put out in this very fashion. You know, losing 2-0 on maps that they are very familiar with, that they will pick
Yeah.
often in series as well. This was the hard way through for Wings Up, but even in spite of that, they were able to get great performances out of players like Marek, like Flying throughout this
Yeah.
series. And, I think critically, we looked at this roster and, maybe not seeing the best work out of Child King, but he's not as needed, it seems, because when he's lagging behind, Gas, Lan, where we have enough, and Flying, those three are able to sort of bounce the responsibilities off each other.
And look, just a last point on IHC as well, because you mentioned that it's a 2-0 where they're losing out of their own map, because it's not just that. Look at how many anti-ecos they've lost to. Look at how many favors effectively they got granted from the CS gods in this previous map as well. 2 rounds, they stole away another half fight that they're able to win as well. And it's just mistake upon mistake upon mistake. They needed that extra firepower to be able to bail them out. They needed that extra 10% in the calling department as well. Otherwise, this simply wasn't going to happen. And we don't even need to talk about Inferno, because Inferno, that was very much also just them getting dismantled. Wings Up are looking good. They still look vulnerable. Obviously, those mistakes were made by them. And going into tomorrow versus Lynn, we can almost guarantee that Nuke will be featured again. But will we be able to see a stronger Wings? You mentioned it before. They've been upgrading. They've been iterating. Are they quite at the distance is the last question that we have to find out. But to answer that, we're going to have to come back tomorrow. Of course, guys, make sure that you guys are wary about the daylight saving changes that are going to be coming in tomorrow as well. You don't want to miss this grand finals. It's going to be Lin Vision versus Wings Up. The first spot for ESL Pro League Season 18 from Asia will be decided tomorrow at this exact price on this exact stream with these teams and these faces. We cannot wait to see you there. For now, though, we've got to be signing out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
My world has come together, and maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is no good or better. I think tonight I'm gonna make it mine. I stepped out, stepping on next. Lil baddie, cashing big checks. I bought the whole block out, now that's a big flex. Peeping out my Uber window, like what's next? Got new levels and new devils out the wazoo. Ain't no worries, life gets better when you find you. And if you mind you, peace will abide and hide you until it's time to start anew. So live it up, we grown, ain't got no curfew. Who brought the bad vibes? Tell that bitch move. Walking all in my inner, that's a bitch move. Pressed that I arrived, mad that I survived. All your sad attempts to send me to the sky. But I've been in the wind, been had wings, I was always this fly. Oh yes, and that's probably why you're mad. Don't let Evie turn you into a trash bag. So get glad, find out why you sad. All that jealousy, you should subside. I think it's time to turn that mirror on you. Put it up close for a clear view. And look deep down inside. And soon you will find a pretty soul that needs more shine. My world has come together, and maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is and test me, my mom deep will have you shook. It's a marathon, but baby girl, never let up. No need for speed, but keep your foot up on the gas pedal. Ain't worried about having a golden award when God made me to be an ice cold meadow. Why are you always pressed about my life? Talking with your frenemies about me, saying, ooh, girl, have you seen it like the shine lights? You tried, but you could never dim my light. Please know I'm untouchable, girl. I'll slip through your fingers like a real fly kite. Why you wanna turn a good day into fight night? Constantly projecting all that negativity. Take that bad energy and go and get your mind right. Say a prayer tonight to keep your soul tight. You in the big world of danger, cause you dwell in that drama. I put the work in, now I got the big bags that you call Birkins. My world has come together, and maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is no good or better. I think tonight I'm gonna make it mine. My world has come together, and maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is no good or better. I think tonight.
Break up, don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, but you're holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue? I'm feeling kinda used, yeah, like a drug that you take when you're sick of crying all your tears away. Is that all I am? All I want is for you to be happy. You know this ain't healthy. Do I make you happy? How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, what you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue? I'm doing everything he doesn't do, but I'm still not enough. Even your parents know I'm good for you, but I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue?
The bar raising, we keep moving it up. Ain't no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I got faith restored, why you pushing the brakes? I ain't full of myself, boy, I'm full of mistakes. I came from humble and roots, I'm here to stand and deliver. Had no one gassing me up, except the man in the mirror. I used to work on my handles, and now it's handles of liquor. I write these songs in a dark room, the candle will flicker. I stay practicing heavy for when the game's on the line. It's like over and over, I run the plays in my mind. I'm a psycho, I'm taking my time. Rushing perfection is a dangerous crime. You gotta give it and take it. That's what you do till you make it. I had to roll with the punches and take the hits from the flagrants. I'm saying the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch. And no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I was falling, had me stalling. I was way down, now I'm balling. I done came up, and I called it. I done came in the clutch with the game on the line, I know. I operate from a higher place. Wait, some decisions don't try a race. I'm doing what I can to fuel the flame like a fireplace. To make a bunch of money, buy my mama a fireplace. We make incredible songs to celebrate and get mad lit. Once upon a time in Hollywood, I'm like Brad Pitt. My homies say I live a life, yeah, just a tad bit. Learning how to move in this rap shit. I told them that the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch. And no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch.
back.